Question for you. Would you rather pay $150 a month or $15 a month to work out with the same high-quality gym equipment? At Planet Fitness, you can get top-tier equipment for $15 a month. Plus, save $28 or more when you join now during our Strong Choice sale. Our weights weigh the same, you just don't pay the same. Enjoy free fitness training and 24-hour access at most clubs, all in the judgment-free zone. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. See club for details.
Services.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts for the power, performance, and reliability of a new Superstart battery. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you know us, then you know we're all about sports. We're the Game, 7:30 a.m. Welcome to the Sparrow Stout on Sports on Lansing Sports Station, The Game, 7:30 a.m. Starring the Dean of Mid-Michigan Sports, Tim Stout. The Sparrow Stout on Sports is Michigan's longest-running sports radio show. From the high schools to the colleges and the pros, Tim has you covered. Give Tim a call on the Culligan Water Hotline at 517-300-4263 or send him an email at tim.stout@wilx.com. Now, celebrating over 30 years on the radio in mid-Michigan and member of the Michigan Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame, here's the Dean himself, Tim Stout.
On behalf of our partner, Shaheen Chevy Cadillac, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, October 9th, 2024, and welcome to a busy day again right here on the Sparrow Stout on Sports. Coming to you live from the Driven Collision Studios right here at WVFN Radio. Driven Collision, Joe Laird says, give us a buzz and get that banged-up vehicle fixed up. We work with the insurance companies. If you need a loaner while we're fixing yours, we'll make that happen. 977-0955. And we'll have a Driven Collision story of the day. WVFN, your home for all the local sports shows and programming in the area from this studio. Along the way today, we always have numbers and stats. Those are Quality Dairy numbers and stats. Quality Dairy reminds you it's cider and donut season. Nobody else, they think, and I agree, has cider and donuts like Quality Dairy. Get the QD mobile app. And when you do, that'll help you in a variety of ways. Certainly, you'll save money. We'll have Pure Green Smith Tree breaking sports moments at any time. It's aeration season for your lawn this fall, okay, just like all the golf courses do at this time of the year. Pure Green Smith Tree for an appointment, and they're good at it, at 703-1111, and it's simple as that. You're always welcome on the Culligan Water Hotline. 300-4263. Our email address, tim.stout@wilx.com. Brock's here. It's a beautiful day in mid-Michigan. It was something like 46 degrees this morning.
It was cooler than that because today was the first day I could see my breath in the air this morning.
64, I think, though, is expected to be the high today. And then next week, I see everything's in the 50s. Beginning on Sunday, all the temperatures in the 50s, so it could be cool. 1 week from Saturday night for Michigan State's next football game in Spartan Stadium, 7:30, Channel 10, homecoming against Iowa. That's next week. This week, Michigan and Michigan State, among others, have bye weeks in football. But there are a lot of other things going on. Like Tiger baseball, first pitch this afternoon here on WVFN is at 3:08. Is that on JIM AM 1240?
Both stations today, yes.
Carry that as well. So this is Game 3 of the Best of 5 series, okay? Channel 10's we have three staff there today. And most of that coverage will come on the late news shows tonight simply because the game may not finish in time for a lot of heavy-duty on-scene coverage. If it starts at 3:08 and it goes to somewhere 6:08, barring extra innings, who knows how that'll play out. When you have live sports events and you staff them and cover them, there's a lot of wiggle room and a lot of moving parts. So, like I say, we'll see from the studio how it all plays out. 3:08, Game 3. Cleveland and Detroit, the Best of 5 series is tied at a win apiece. San Diego last night beat the Dodgers 6-5 to go up 2-1, and the Mets beat the Phillies 7-2 to go up 2-1. So I said to Brock, how ironic would it be if Kansas City and Detroit, the two lower-level teams in the Central Division, played for the American League pennant, let alone the Mets and San Diego, when all the teams that dominated during the regular season, the top of the standings, could be could be knocked out before
All of them could get knocked out.
pennant championship series. The Dodgers have no more wiggle room, and neither do the Phillies. They can't lose another game in their series. They each have to win 2. New York at Kansas City, that's tonight, isn't it? And that's they share a 1-1 series tie at this point.
That game is at 7:08. 7:08.
So
At Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City.
we were off the air for needed station and transmitter, whatever they call it, maintenance last night. Brock says that went well. That got handled. So
It was on when I turned it on at 4:45 this morning.
So we're good to go. You know, it's like getting a haircut. You know, we needed a little maintenance in here. Needed to get
One
trimmed.
way of looking at it.
So we got trimmed up, and so we should be good to go. Pure Green Smith, as I say, Culligan Water Hotline is 300-4263.
All right, let's get to the important stuff. How's the family? What's going on?
I don't know. Frankly, I don't know.
Well, you told me Tom and his wife drove.
Well, we got 4 involved in 4 locations right in the middle of it. However, since yesterday, I can't tell you how many people I've heard from.
Because people care, Tim.
Well, the other thing is how many families in the state of Michigan, let alone anywhere else in America, how many families either have a home in Florida, rent a place in Florida, vacation in Florida, travel to Florida on business, have relatives in Florida, have friends in Florida, have anything to do in any way, shape, or form with Florida. So there's it's a natural state in America because of its weather and location that people, have a connection to a varying degree. So the oldest, he's in St. Petersburg. He's in what's called the Coffee Pot Neighborhood Lagoon. I'll just say that there are hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage from Helene. And now with this, they were to fly in here yesterday, but at the last moment, the flight got canceled. So he and his wife hightailed it last night on without using the freeways. They went on inner roads to Fort Lauderdale to a hotel on the inland there.
My God, how long did that take them to drive over there?
2.5, 3 hours, something like that.
Oh, I was afraid it was going to be like 5-6 hours or even more.
When he's there on business, he usually flies. And I said, why do you fly? Why don't you just drive over across the state? It's not that big a deal. But they drove last night. My sister-in-law's on the beach in Venice. She has never been hit, and I don't want to Dean curse her either. But she has gone with my sister, who's Siesta Key. They're in harm's way. They've already had damage. Venice did not, but now Venice is in the eye of the storm. So they've all gone to Lakewood Ranch, which is a community in the northeast area of Sarasota, east of I-75. And what they're doing is, like a lot of people who've evacuated, many people who live in Florida or who have property are not there all the time. So many of those dwellings are vacant, especially at this time of the year because it's not winter. It's not cold yet, right? So they're not.
Right.
So they're not there. So between my sister and my sister-in-law, that's 3 of them plus 1 dog. They're at a vacant home in Lakewood Ranch of a friend who's not there and would just as soon have them there to keep an eye on their place to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, do you worry about looting and things like this at this time?
Oh, my goodness, yes.
I don't know that that's on their mind, but there are a lot of people who have vacant dwellings or dwellings where they're not there would just soon have friends there so they know exactly what they're going to be getting into when they have to deal with this. Now, in the case of your 98-and-a-half-year-old mother, she's in a 350 senior citizen high-rise, 12 stories high in South Sarasota. They've decided, they being the authorities, they're going to leave them there. They think that building is a fortress. Like my mom told me last night, I've been here 15 years. We've been through other storms before. So she said, in a way, I'm used to it, and we're used to it. So what they have done is all of the staff.
Tampa Bay area bridges are all closing this afternoon. You were asking before we went on the air about the Skyway Bridge and the other bridges there.
Yeah, it just makes it tougher to get around.
Okay, so go on.
Well, so at any rate, so all of the staff of that Bay Village, of the staff of that village, and they've done this before. There's about 100 of them. Well, they're not multimillionaires, so all of them get invited into the building to hunker down, and they can bring their families and pets.
Oh.
Okay, free of charge. They've brought in food for 4 days, and there's a hospital on the second floor of the 12 floors hooked up to a massive generator system. But each apartment dweller there's a red outlet, which is to be used when the generator's on, and you get one. You get one hookup.
Oh, boy.
You can either have your refrigerator, your stove, your TV, your lights. You get one.
Well,
and
you
it's
need
separate
batteries.
it's separate from the different outlets. So when they did, and they have 4 elevators, 3 get shut down.
Okay.
And 1 goes on a separate system. So the last thing you want is a power outage with 8 senior citizens stuck in an elevator because power went out.
Oh, boy.
So 3 get shut down. Believe me, those 4 elevators are going night and day.
Oh, I believe it.
She, like many, she's more worried about the others than she is about herself. Like she says, we'll get through this. She has a tremendous view of the Gulf of Mexico and the Intercoastal. And that building is pretty hurricane-proof. However, how this is all going to play out, I don't know. But now since then, I've heard from many other people who either have property there, have friends there, have business associates there, have acquaintances there, have kids in college there, right? So there's a lot of uncertainty about this story moving forward today. Usually Brock and I have ESPN up on the TV on the wall, but for the last few days,
Not
the Weather
today.
Channel, there's never any good news from the Weather Channel. There's never any good news. That's the story. But listening elsewhere on radio today, people were telling their stories of in advance exactly what, a lot of these people who live there full time, they've been through this before. They know pretty much in advance what you have to do and can't do. I was amazed to learn that the prison population in Florida, they've all been asked to help make sandbags because sandbags are a huge deal. I mean, Tom put a couple of them all the way around his home. He's already got damage. He's just hoping the damage stays to where the damage was from Helene.
Oh, my.
He'll take that right now. He already had the insurance adjuster last Friday. He had an attorney there and a contractor there. They solved it. Well, that was for Helene. Now what happens? And his answer is he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So I guess now in terms of the sports world, Brock said the Tampa Bay Lightning, they played there. And by the way,
the Florida Panthers.
Oh, the Florida Panthers. Well, Miami is a little bit more out of harm's way.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, that arena's right on the water.
Amalie Arena. Yeah,
that is right on the water.
They were supposed to play Monday. They were supposed to start their season Monday, but that game got canceled. And I have no idea when they're playing
and the Tampa Bay Raymond James Stadium's right at the airport, and that's in a low area.
Florida's a low state anyway.
The Bucks, they left yesterday to
go to New Orleans
because they play at New Orleans Sunday.
Yep.
So parallel. But you know what? I thought to myself, how many Tampa Bay Bucks players are thinking about either their family members in Florida where they live in the Tampa Bay area, even though they're practicing on site in New Orleans? Are their minds elsewhere given the fact that we play for the Bucks, we live in the area, so what's going to happen relative to what we have?
To our homes, apartments,
I mean, my guess is most of those guys don't live in a low-income area simply because of the salaries they all make. I don't know what they all have. But I heard from a couple of people today that have high-end homes that just think you can't get there. If you were there, you'd have to get out anyway. And when can you get down there? And when you get there, what are you going to do? So there's all that. Our Big Ten historian, Mike Pearson's got a marvelous story for us this morning. He's going to come in here after the break. Next week, Michigan plays at Illinois, and it is the 100th anniversary of the Illinois Stadium, and they are marking that.
Memorial Stadium.
They're observing the 100th anniversary. You are going to hear audio from the late, great Red Grange, who had a day in 1924, 100 years ago, that is still remembered in not only Illinois history, college football history. And thanks to our Big Ten historian, Mike Pearson, 122 years ago today, October 9th, 1902, was the birth of iconic Michigan State President John Hanna, who built the university to, in many ways, is what it is today from 1941 to 69. And also from Mike Pearson, on this date in 1957, October 9th, 1957, Michigan State football coach Duffy Daugherty appeared on the cover of Time magazine. We're back with more in a moment as we get rolling here on the Wednesday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
We all want more out of work and out of life. More top-line ideas, more bottom-line results, more support on the job to get us more time away from the job. To get more, it helps to have a trusted partner like Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan and Blue Care Network. It doesn't matter how big or small your business is. We help you stretch dollars and offer the healthcare coverage you want so you can focus on your job and life away from it. To see what Blue Cross can do for you, visit timeformore.com.
From quiet, cozy mornings and busy weekday dinners to fun family and friend gatherings, your home is your happy place. So when you find the perfect place to call home, Merc is here. With personalized mortgage solutions and competitive rates, Mercantile Bank lenders are with you every step of the way. Because at Mercantile, we're here to help you own it. To find a local lender and get a personalized rate quote that fits your budget, visit mercbank.com/mortgage. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Did you know that Michigan residents are missing out on a staggering $105 million every year? Yes, we are talking about Michiganders not returning their deposit containers, and we can do so much better in this state. So take them back. It's your beaches, your roads, and your dime. It's worth your time. Let's keep Michigan green and our wallets a little fuller. Don't let that $100 million end up in the landfills. The message from Schupan & Sons, a great company in Michigan dedicated to total recycling. Culver's in the Eastwood Town Center. You always mention Stout on Sports at that one location. You always get 10% off. Open 10:30 to 10. You can even call in advance to have your order delivered to you curbside right on time. No waiting in line at 374-1301, okay? You'll love all the different options you have from Culver's, especially at this time of the year when you want to use the drive-through. Culver's has been red hot. Again, call in advance with your order at Culver's in the Eastwood Town Center, 374-1301.
How do you make everyone's favorite buffet even better? How do you make the country's best chicken even more exciting? How do you make Thursday the best night ever? Wing night at Pizza Ranch. Boneless and traditional. A variety of sauces. All the wings you want, plus all your other buffet favorites. The country's best wing night is here, taking flight Thursday nights on the buffet. Only at Pizza Ranch. Pizza Ranch, everyone's favorite buffet.
We've partnered for years with our official pizza, Cottage and Gourmet Pizza. You always get fast delivery and a variety of specials every day. Order online at cottagein.com. Convenient locations all over our area, especially East Lansing and Okemos. Cottage and Pizza offering a wide variety of gourmet pizzas, and you can build your own just the way you want. Handmade dough closes at 11:30 each night. Way to go, George Hoover, with the continued growth and success of our official pizza, Cottage and Gourmet Pizza. Culligan Water of Lansing, so popular in so many different ways with so many people around the mid-Michigan area. Craig Prang and Culligan ready for a huge fall season, and he's here to tell us all about it.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. You know, if you're looking for something to clean up your water, whether you got smell, odor, taste, that type of thing, just give us a holler. We'll be happy to come out, test the water, give you an idea whether you want to rent something, purchase something. It doesn't really matter. Pretty much widely recognized that Culligan has the best equipment in the world, and we'll find a way to fix what you need. We'll make it affordable. I'll make it quick, and we can get right after it for you. Just give us a holler. I'll test the water for you, go over your options. You may have more options than you even think. So, again, I will make it affordable for you, and just give us a holler.
You can holler at 393-1900 or stop by at Dunkel Road in Lansing. It's such a tremendous company in so many ways to serve you. Culligan Water of Lansing.
At Doggy Daycare and Spa, we love dogs. We love hanging out with dogs, grooming dogs, and kissing dogs goodnight. 20 years ago, we introduced Mid-Michigan to Doggy Daycare. We've built 2 custom facilities and provided countless clients and their dogs with the very best in cageless daycare, boarding, and grooming services. Stop in for a tour at either one of our convenient locations in Delta Township on Mount Hope Highway or on the corner of Grand River and Cornell and Okemos. Give us a call at 333-WOOF. That's 333-9663, and let us love your dog. Doggy Daycare and Spa, where the hip hounds hang out.
Young or old, okay, male or female, you got some pains, you got aches, Peak Performance Physical Therapy is where you ought to start first. And they've got locations now in DeWitt, Mason, Westshire Drive in Lansing, and also Grand River Avenue in Okemos. 853-6800 is the number. Before you go through all those doctors and any of those surgeries, let their people take good care of you, as they've done for so many people in the area. And hey, if you mention Stout on Sports when scheduling your evaluation, you receive a free gift when you come in for your first appointment. Peak Performance Physical Therapy. Beautiful day to get a touch-free car wash from Lake Lansing Road Mobile. That's right across from the Eastwood Town Center. Saves you 25 cents a gallon off the price of gas. Service bays will fix whatever ails your vehicle Monday through Friday when you call 484-2300. Across the street, Eastwood Town Center, there's a Culver's by Walmart. Scott Berman, with all the restaurants he's got at that one Culver's, when you mention Stout on Sports with your order, he'll knock the price down 10%.
From the Breslin Center to Little Caesars Arena, we've got the sports opinions that matter to you. From the Driven Collision Studios, we make friends by accident. On the Game, 7:30 a.m.
On we go from the Driven Collision Studios. One of the remarkable stories in college football, especially in the Big Ten so far this fall, has been Illinois. And the next 2 weeks are a big deal for the Fighting Illini. They are a heavy favorite at home over Purdue this Saturday. And then a week from Saturday, Michigan comes in for the 100th anniversary observation celebration of Memorial Stadium and all that goes with it. Mike sent us some audio of an interview he did with the late, great Red Grange. However, what he also sent this morning, and if you get his service, you would understand it. I just mentioned it. Born on this date in 1902, so he'd be 122 today. Iconic Michigan State President John Hanna and Duffy Daugherty's picture on the cover of Time magazine. I don't know how you know all this stuff, but obviously those were, that cover of Time magazine in Michigan State lore has been seen everywhere through the years, wouldn't you say?
Oh, it's amazing. And it's such in such beautiful color. It was a great drawing, a painting of Duffy, and there he is smiling, just like we remember him. He was an amazing guy.
When I saw that this morning, I thought to myself, it's one thing if he was on the cover after the 65 or 66 season. He was only the coach for a few years after Biggie stepped down. They had gone to the Rose Bowl. But I'd be curious, why did the Time editors think that he was a good cover story in 1957 when his career was just getting underway?
That's a very good question. I think his personality had a lot to do with it. He was very quotable. His Duffyisms were very historic. We remember each and every conversation we had with him. He always had a sense of humor, and inserted that in whenever he spoke to people. He could be serious. There's no doubt about that, but he was a fun-loving guy.
1902, the birth on October 9th of that date of John Hanna, who I claim when the university goes back to 1855. I ran cross country with his son in high school. I had met him a number of times just because he was a parent of an athlete in high school at the time. When I first went on the air, he had retired, and he came up to a football broadcast that we were doing of a Michigan State game, and he came in, he was talking to someone else, and he saw me. Now, he was very friendly, and he said, I watch you all the time. I don't always agree with what you say, but I watch you all the time. And I thought, this is like meeting the President of the United States. So I wanted to ask him further, what don't you agree with? Because that was early in the career. However, I would opine that since 1855, if you could name one figure more than anyone else who has influenced the development, growth, popularity, success of Michigan State University, would there be anyone above John Hanna?
No, stands alone. He was the person who was responsible, during his, 28, 29 years as the president, and many more before that, as an assistant in that administration. He helped shape and build the campus, because the campus at that juncture was, 10, 12,000. And, when he left, it was bordering on 50,000. And, of course, he had a major role in bringing Michigan State University into the Big Ten Conference, which, sent it to a different level athletically.
I still remember the day that our oldest, who was a freshman that year at Notre Dame, in his dorm, the late, great president of Notre Dame, Theodore Hesper, came in to talk to the students, and he took questions. So Tom texted me, said some guy asked him, who's the most influential person you have ever met in your life? And like Tom said, everybody thought he'd name one of the popes, one of the presidents, one of the world leaders, and he said, that's easy. John Hanna at Michigan State, the president there, is the most influential person I ever met in my life. So when he said that, Tom immediately texted me. He said, you wouldn't believe what he just said. I'll never forget. And like Tom said, he went on and on about John Hanna, who left Michigan State at age 67 to go work, with people in Africa. What was it? The Association for International Development. It was a governmental thing that the United States wanted him to work because agriculture was one of his specialties. So he left Michigan State for a broader purpose, if you remember that.
I do. It was kind of stunning at that point, leaving Michigan State at that point to join this governmental service. But I think he always had, the greater good in mind when he lived his life. I never saw him as an egotistical guy. He had every right to be because of what he did and what he stood for. But it never came across to me. I've sent you some clips from the conversation that I was very privileged to have with him in the mid '80s, shortly before his death, and he chose each word very independently because he wanted to say just the right thing at just the right time.
So what Mike is here for, because this is such a big time at Illinois, they have Purdue at home on Saturday, and then next week is the Michigan game, which is a huge observation. It's a big game just because it's Michigan alone. But as Mike says to me, shows me here, Memorial Stadium in Champaign opened in 1923, but the formal dedication came at the next year's homecoming game 100 years ago. Michigan was the opponent, Brock, on sunny day, October 18th, 1924. 67,000 fans at Memorial Stadium. Red Grange took the opening kickoff 95 yards for a touchdown. And in the first half alone, besides that, he ran 67, 56, and 45 yards for touchdowns before halftime. And Illinois went on to a 39-14 victory, which, as it says here, made Red Grange a national figure. The New York Times reported never has any player gained such prominence, the bright bubble of Champaign, and it was against Michigan. And as Mike writes, this year for the Michigan at Illinois game a week from Saturday, that's a CBS game, right, Brock?
CBS is picking that up.
3:30 a week from Saturday. As Mike writes, Illinois will wear replica 1924 uniforms, including hand-painted replica leather helmets.
Oh, that'll be cool looking.
So there you go. So, Mike, from the way I've set the stage, add to it anything you want from there.
Well, Memorial Stadium, and you've been there, Tim, and it's a very imposing place. The most striking part of it is the colonnade on either side of it. There are 200 columns, and each of them bear the name of an individual with University of Illinois ties, whether it was a faculty person, a student, whoever, who died during the service in World War I. And George Huff, the athletic director at that juncture, he knew that the old Illinois field no longer was capable. And, Zupke's teams at that juncture were winning national championships. And in 1919, after the final game against Ohio State, they had to turn away. Newspaper accounts say they had to turn away 20 to 30,000 people who they just couldn't get them in the stadium. And Huff made up his mind at that juncture that we just have to have a bigger stadium because it was old wooden bleachers in those days. So he began the episode of raising funds. They raised $1.8 million. Can you imagine? 1.8 to build Memorial Stadium. And they broke ground in September of 1922. They played the game they played their very first game, which wasn't the dedication game, in November of 23. It took 14 months to build Memorial Stadium. And you've seen it. 14 months with 1920 equipment. Can you imagine?
No, I can't.
What
No, I can't.
How was that done? How was it possible?
And it has largely its same look today, in a way, that it, with the columns and all that it had 100 years ago. As you write, by the way, Michigan State plays at Illinois, its final regular season road game on November 16th. And as it says here, the renowned sports writer Grantland Rice covered the game that day in 1924 against Michigan and coined a better nickname in a poem hailing America's first great football hero. I assume that was the Galloping Ghost, correct?
That is right. Yeah, he coined, and I wish I had it in front of me to recite it to you. But it was very, Grantland Rice was a sports writer, but he was a poet as well. And, he came up with that phrase. He came up with the Four Horsemen the famous lead. So, Grantland Rice was kind of one of a kind. But that day, as you mentioned, Grange scored 4 touchdowns in the first quarter, in the first 12 minutes. Oh, by the way, he also ran for a 5th in the third quarter, and he passed for a 6th touchdown in the fourth quarter, and he intercepted 2 passes that day. So he had a pretty good day.
He had a pretty good day. Tell me, when did you interview him for this cut with Red Grange, and when did he pass away, and how old was he?
Well, I had the great privilege of meeting Red Grange 3 times. The first time was at a museum dedication in Wheaton, Illinois, his hometown, and that was more of just an opportunity to shake his hand. The second and third times were honestly 2 of the most privileged moments of my life. In December of 1989, Illinois had a very good team, played in the old Florida Citrus Bowl in Orlando. And on December 31st, New Year's Eve, John Makovic and I climbed into a car, and we drove to Indian Lake Estates and went to the home of Red and Margaret Grange in Indian Lake Estates. Not too far from Orlando, kind of where the path is going to go through at this juncture. The third time was even more chilling because Red Grange, this was the 100th anniversary. 1990 was the 100th anniversary, and you'll remember Howard Griffith, and you certainly see him on the Big Ten Network. Howard had a huge game against Southern Illinois in 1990, September of 1990. He scored 8 touchdowns in one game and broke Red Grange's record. And I thought, let's link Howard with Red Grange. Red was still alive at that juncture. I called Mrs. Grange and said, is it possible? We're coming down for the Hall of Fame Bowl in Tampa. I'd like to drive Howard over to meet Red. She says, oh, that would be a wonderful thing, but Red's just not up to it. He was in a nursing home at that juncture, and I said, well, we gave it a try. I wanted to link, these 2 great moments of history, of Illinois history. And then a day before we left, she said, you know what? I changed my mind. He's in the hospital. He's not doing well, so don't expect, much out of him. But so I drove Howard Griffith to a hospital. I think it was in Lake Wales. You know where that is?
Yes, it's in the Orlando area.
Lake Wales. Yep. And so I drove Howard. We found the hospital. It's pretty, and it was in the intensive care ward. And we walked in, and Red was in a bed, and he just wasn't up to it. And I said, I kind of whispered. I said, Mr. Grange, this is Howard Griffith. This is the man who has been breaking all of your records this year. And it seemed like about 30 seconds of silence after that. I'm thinking, he just doesn't understand anything at this juncture, but just then a very soft voice comes forth and says, oh, I know who Howard is. And Howard Griffith's face lit up, they shook hands, and my mission had been accomplished. A month later, he died. And Red Grange died at the age of 87. But even I'll take it a step further. So the following year, we invited Mrs. Grange up for the 70th anniversary. It might have been 3 years later. We invited Red Grange up in 1994, I think it was. Red Grange's wife, Margaret, they called her Muggs. We invited her up. We had just installed a huge piece of limestone called the Rock, the Red Grange Rock. It must have weighed 20 tons. It was enormous, and it was just inside the stadium. And she called and said, I'd like to do something. Red's wish has always been to have me sprinkle his ashes at Memorial Stadium. This is an awesome ask at that point. And, how do you turn something like that down? So we attended, myself and two others attended with Mrs. Grange, and we sprinkled his ashes around Red Grange Rock. And before each game, the Illini players come out of the tunnel and touch the Red Grange Rock. So to say that the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium is a big deal at Illinois is an understatement. As I said, they're going to be wearing replica jerseys. The helmets have been hand painted for that game. There's 105 helmets, and they are replica of leather helmets. So I would say with Illinois probably going to enter a 5-1 record in a week because I think they're going to take care of Purdue. And then to play Michigan on the 100th anniversary of the famous Red Grange game, I would say Michigan will have all it can handle that day.
And this comment, what does Red Grange speak to on the cut that we have here?
He simply describes his day against Michigan in 1924.
And this was recorded when, obviously, it was prior to when you got him in the hospital.
It was way before that, and it wasn't even me. I think it was an interview on WGN radio, possibly. But I had the opportunity to interview him in his home on that second visit. But honestly, there wasn't much that came out of that. But this one originated, I think, was recorded in about 1978.
Okay, this is Red Grange on that fateful 39-14 win at home over Michigan in 1924.
Lefty had the team up very, very high. I don't think on that one certain day that any college team in the United States could have licked us on that day because we wouldn't be defeated. That was for sure. And I scored 4 touchdowns in the first 12 minutes. And he took me out of the game. I asked to be taken out because I was tuckered out. And as I walked off the sidelines, he came over and he put his arm around me and he said, "Grange, you should have had another touchdown." He said, "On that last time you carried the ball," he said, "you cut too quick. You should have taken a few more steps." I knew he was just pulling my leg, or I thought he was anyway, but he seemed very, very serious about it. I'll say one thing. You never played for Zucky. You never got to be a big shot or got a big head or anything else. So he would see to that you did not.
What was Red Grange's profession in life after he graduated from college?
He became first on radio and then on TV. He was one of the very first color analysts. He worked. You'll remember the name Lindsey Nelson, of
yes,
course.
Absolutely.
Who's an iconic. But he helped Lindsey Nelson on broadcasts at that point. Of course, he helped establish the NFL. Of course, the guy who was instrumental in that was a guy named George Halas, who also is an Illinois grad, by the way. And so Hallis Newgrange, professional football was not what it is certainly today, but in Red Grange's very first game at Wrigley Field, I'm not sure it was called Wrigley Field at that juncture, but they drew 70,000 fans for that very first game simply to see Red Grange.
So Illinois, midway through this season, 5-1, hosting Purdue Saturday. Michigan is at Illinois at 3:30. The following Saturday, October 19th, and Michigan State is at Illinois on November 16th. Who knows what will be riding on the game then, given the start that Illinois has had. Mike, as usual, I can't tell much. I appreciate it a great deal, and we went a little bit longer on this segment. I know you got an appointment at 11. We'll get caught up here in a moment, and I owe you more favors. Just stay in touch soon, and we certainly appreciate it today.
Okay, Tim. Thanks for the opportunity.
There you go. Mike Pearson, our Big Ten historian, who's had sports information junctures at both Michigan State and Illinois. More in a moment. Culling Water Hotline, you're next. And we have a huge interview at 11:05. Adam Nightengale is going to join us at 12:45, the Michigan State hockey coach. And who knows what else is going on a busy Wednesday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Here's what's on tap today here on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN. After we're done at 1 o'clock, we got ESPN Radio until 2:40, and then at 2:40, Tiger Baseball. Tigers and Guardians from Comerica Park. It's Game 3 of the American League Division Series. That's here on the game, 7:30 a.m. and on 1240 WJIM. Coming up at noon on 1240, it's the Leah Johnson. She's the volleyball coach. It's the Leah Johnson Show from 1 Northwest over on the west side of town. And that's what's on tap. The game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
The prestigious Abood Law Firm has offices in East Lansing and Birmingham and has been around since 1956. 332-5900, Abbott and Saginaw and East Lansing. Abood Law understands it's essential to get an attorney involved in your legal issues as early as possible. If you're dealing with legal problems, contact Andrew Abood and his great staff at Abood Law in East Lansing immediately, and you'll get the help that you need and can depend on. Abood Law, we heartily endorse Andrew Abood Law, 332-5900. The Lansing Sports Commission is your resource for sports tournament and event planning in Michigan's capital region. As a full-service sports commission, they work with you on every aspect of your event, as dedicated to its success as you are. Greater Lansing, so convenient to reach and easy to navigate. The region is full of well-equipped lodging, first-rate athletic venues, entertainment options for the team, and so much more. No matter the size of your event or the sport you're coming to play, you check it all out with the Lansing Sports Commission for your next great event. New incentives for you from Dominic at Sparty's Coney Island in Frandor. Open till 2 o'clock each day. 20% Burger Thursdays. You know how great the Coneys are, especially with half prices on Tuesdays. But now Thursdays, 20% on burgers, and man, is Dominic excited about that. Dine in, carry out, every day. Breakfast is spectacular as well. Always incentives at Sparty's Coney Island in the Frandor Shopping Center. And again, whether it's 20% Burger Thursdays or half-price Coney Tuesdays, be sure to tell Dominic we sent you.
Transform your home in one weekend with paint from Menards. Get a paint that combines durability and gorgeous color. Dutch Boys Forever Interior Paint and Primer in One offers powerhouse protection with its stain-blocking, odor-reducing technology. And with Dutch Boys Easy Opening Smooth Pouring Container, transforming your home has never been easier. View our entire selection of Dutch Boy paint on Menards.com. Plus the weekly flyer and other great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Shop Meijer for monster deals and spooky savings this week. Save on red or golden delicious, Empire, Fuji, Gala, and Macintosh apples. Mix and match and fill your tote bag for 79 cents a pound. From creepy to just plain silly, our selection of kids' costumes are 25% off. And Halloween snack-size non-chocolate candy is only $3.49 per bag. Shop these frighteningly good deals and more, in-store or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
Michigan Plumbing, a leading provider of plumbing, drain cleaning, and water heater services to homeowners in the mid-Michigan area. And you can get an expert in your home free for an evaluation. Call 322-2994. 24/7 emergency plumbing and drain services for the entire mid-Michigan area. All home plumbing emergencies, all makes and models of equipment. What a great company it is, Michigan Plumbing. And they're right when they say we exceed your expectations. See for yourself, Michigan Plumbing today. Custom built design and renovation in Meridian Township in Michigan is ready to renovate your home, build you a deck, redo your bathroom, your kitchen, and you see those custom built signs all over the mid-Michigan area. Call for a consultation at 881-9871. They have so many tremendous opportunities for you. If you're looking for a pro home remodeling contractor in our area, look no further than Custom Built. Contact them today for free estimates. What a great company for renovation. It's getting to 64 today, golfers. You can go play Royal Scott at any time, all right, for a lot less cost than it is elsewhere, just west of the airport. Royal Scott Golf and Bowl, okay? They got a lot of big events coming up. Sign up for the Christmas parties now. Play golf, go bowling, have fun all year round at Royal Scott. You got the Emerald north of St. John's, a wonderful place to play and hold special events. Jay and Katie Eccleton will take care of you at the Emerald. Brookshire Inn in Williamston. Sign up for Christmas party dates now at 655-4694. Michigan State's Forest Acres Complex. You'll love that. You can practice all year round. Go play either course today. There you go. Some golf suggestions this morning from the Sparrow Stout on Sports.
The Game, 7:30 a.m. Streaming the best and nonstop sports talk now for all of Lansing in the free Game 7:30 a.m. app. Tap in today.
On we go from the Driven Collision Studios. Time now for our daily Sparrow Stout on Sports Gillespie Group High School Salute. It's a daily thing where we honor a high school official, player, coach, administrator, school, whatever. The Gillespie Group's Join Our Team campaign is in full swing. You want a career at Gillespie? Interested? Want more info? Online, gillespie-group.com/careers. Or call Gillespie for any tour of a property or for more information on a career opportunity at 679-7364. We've honored this kid before. But when you score 5 touchdowns, run for 299 yards on 41 carries, which junior Corey Amakri did for Hazlitt in its win over Williamston, a back-and-forth game this last Friday, he gets our nod this morning from Gillespie. That win even Hazlitt's record at 3-3 and kept it in the running for perhaps a playoff berth in another 3 weeks.
Perhaps, yes.
Perhaps. Corey Amakri is being recruited by a number of large schools, okay? His older brother is knocked out for the season his freshman year at Bowling Green, but Corey is a junior. That means that Hazlitt, who knows how many yards he will pile up in the last 3 games at the end of this regular season and maybe beyond, and certainly his senior year. Making every guest and resident feel like a VIP in your home, the Gillespie Group anticipates the need to match you with a home that will provide your best living experience. Call the Gillespies and tell them what you're looking for. They've got a lot of options for you. A tour of a Gillespie property is yours at 679-7364. And this morning, the Gillespie Group honors junior Corey Amakri. 41 carries, 299 yards, and 5 touchdowns last Friday, and Hazlitt's win over Williamston to square its record now at 3-3 on the season. Our college hockey insider Dave Ellis is texting. Breaking news. The NCAA Division I Management Council has introduced legislation that will allow major junior hockey players to be eligible in the sport. The vote on it will occur at the November meeting. The proposed effective date is next August 1st. It is expected to pass comfortably. College hockey is changing, and when Adam Nightengale Brock is on with us at 12:45, we can go ahead and we can ask him his reaction to that, and would that affect Michigan State's recruiting in any way? I have emails in here this morning. Tim, what are your thoughts on the Tigers game today? In your opinion, will they win today? We had this discussion in the office yesterday, and I made it real brief. I think the entire key to the series, which is essentially a best of 3, Wednesday, today and tomorrow in Comerica, and if Game 5 is needed, Saturday, what was that, 4 o'clock in Cleveland? I think
4:30, but yeah.
4:30.
Yeah.
I think the entire key is how Cleveland's hitters can have any success and to what degree against the Tigers' relief pitching, because they're going to see a number of relief pitchers. I think there are only 2 guys that are off today, Skubal and the other starting pitcher who started game one.
Oh, you mean Reese Olson?
I think he's the only.
Who's the bulk guy? Yeah,
I think he's got a shot to go tomorrow, even though he struggled in game one. Everybody else is available today. So say the Tigers. To me, the entire key to the remainder of the series: can Cleveland get a reasonable number of runs against the Tigers' relief pitching? If they can get 4 to 5, well, then maybe they can, win and somehow, some way get it back to Cleveland for Game 5. Because I don't know that they can win 2 in Detroit, but baseball's weird. We've seen that so far in these opening series.
And all Cleveland needs to do is get one to get it back to Game 5.
Get one win, they have then the game. But that's the good news. The bad news is they're going to have to face Skubal.
Correct.
And whether they would face Skubal over 9 innings instead of shorter than that, given that the season would be completely on the line, I guess that has to play itself out yet.
Wait and see.
I'd take Detroit today.
Okay.
I have no reason to say yay or nay for either one of them, so I'll say Detroit today for no other reason. They're playing at home.
Okay.
I have no other reason that. But I think it can. I mean, look, who was it yesterday? Who was it I heard last night say Cleveland has absolutely no consistent offense? Well, when I say that, I'm negative. When somebody else says it, they're a baseball expert. They have absolutely
because you
no,
say, because
they have
you
no
say it all the
consistent
time.
Because they're consistent with no consistent offense. They're very consistent with no consistent offense. And because of the lack of offense in Major League Baseball, in my opinion, that enabled the Tigers to make a run because they don't have a lot of massive offensive numbers, but they don't need it to win games and move to where they are today. They don't need 8 or 9 runs a game, 7 runs a game. They get 3 or 4 in some of these games, it's good enough. They only needed 1 the other day. They had 3 on 1 swing. That got them to where they are with an even series. Here are the news headlines. We have another significant guest coming up with a significant story. Mel Tucker's involved with it when we return out of the news on the Wednesday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
WVFO East Lansing, a town square media station. We're the station you've turned to for sports for over 30 years. The Game, 7:30 a.m.
The Nut. How do you make everyone's favorite buffet even better? How do you make the country's best chicken even more exciting? How do you make Thursday the best night ever? Wing night at Pizza Ranch. Boneless and traditional. A variety of sauces. All the wings you want, plus all your other buffet favorites. The country's best wing night is here, taking flight Thursday nights on the buffet. Only at Pizza Ranch. Pizza Ranch, everyone's favorite buffet.
Hope you stretched during that timeout. We're back for more sports. It's The Game, 7:30 a.m. I think I pulled a hammy. Welcome to the second hour of the Sparrow Stout on Sports, starring Tim Stout on The Game, 7:30 a.m. You can call the Dean on the Culligan Water Hotline at 517-300-4263 or drop him an email at tim.stout@wilx.com. Now, celebrating over 30 years on the radio in Lansing, here's the Dean of Mid-Michigan Sports, Tim Stout.
Hour number 2 this morning is brought to you by the 2 Wash World locations. The weather's good for Wash World help for your vehicle, either at Okemos and Jolly Road or I-96 at the MLK exit. See, today's Wednesday, $2 off on Wednesdays. Gift cards are available, free vacuum service all the time, and frequency discounts and the best wash, the quickest wash anywhere amongst those that are really, really good. The 2 Wash World locations. So as we begin hour number 2, it's been about 13 months since Michigan State parted ways with football coach Mel Tucker. He hasn't been seen or heard from for the most part since then. The key figure in the issue here was someone named Brenda Tracy, who recently filed a lawsuit, a civil suit against Mel Tucker, finding information about this story and if there's any closure coming or not has been difficult. But Channel 10 anchor Ann Emmerich, who gets her share of tremendous exclusives, she has an interview she has done with Brenda Tracy. I don't think she's spoken to anybody else in the media anywhere at any time, but Ann has figured it out, and Ann got a hold of Brenda Tracy and has an interview with her that I believe is the lead tonight on Channel 10's news at 6 o'clock. But I'm going to get all the particulars because Channel 10's Ann Emmerich is on the other end of our line. This is just one more big story. So, good morning, Ann. What is airing on Channel 10 relative to this story today, either on the on the website or on the air? When and how and when did you do the interview?
Well, Tim, I haven't done the interview yet.
Okay, so that's coming up then.
It is. It will be. Everybody can watch it live. It starts at 6:30, right after our 6 o'clock newscast. It's a live stream event. So one of the things when I've been working on trying to get an exclusive with Brenda for quite a while, talking to her attorney. I spoke with her about a month ago, Brenda, on Zoom. She lives in Oregon, and she came into town, and she is in town now. I met with her in person yesterday to prepare for the interview, and I'm working on my questions as we speak, actually, honing the last things that I want to ask her. But she says she will answer anything. Nothing's off limits. She knows what people want to know. She has been silent for a reason. And the reason that we're doing it in this format on our streaming platform for an hour is she didn't want her story to be cut down into sound bites. And that's going to happen regardless because other reporters will be there and they will cut, that's how we do things, right? We can't do an hour-long thing usually, but digital allows us that. So I presented the option of let's do something live stream where people can watch it and it will be saved for eternity and people can refer back to it and she won't be misquoted. So she said that was something she was comfortable with, and she is looking forward to telling her story, and she wants to be a transparent model for sexual assault survivors. Ironically, she is an advocate. She is a sexual assault survivor. She was gang raped by 4 college football players back in the 90s, and she has made it her mission to go around the country trying to stop sexual violence by educating young men, and that is why she came to Michigan State University for the first time in July of 2021 when Mel Tucker invited her here.
Okay, so she is in town. This is not replacing the NBC Nightly News, which is in Florida for all the obvious reasons, but for people who don't understand quite how to watch this live, in layman's terms, that's idiot-proof, that would include me, to watch it live while it is being conducted with her in town, what do people do?
Go to WILX.com. You will find a link there with a story at 6:30 that you can click on and watch it on your home computer. You can download the WILX app, and you will get an alert at 6:30, and you can click on that and watch it on your phone. We also have an app on smart TVs that you can download and watch it on your television set if you have a streaming option there. So there's a lot of ways you can watch it. Going to our website would be the simplest avenue to do that. And you can watch the entire thing live. Now, the first half hour, I will be doing my interview with her. And then after that, she's going to open up questions from people in the audience and other media.
Where will she be, if you know?
She will be, this is being held at the Okemos Conference Center, which is in Okemos, right there. I think it's the Comfort Inn. And that is where it will start. Doors open at 6 o'clock. And we will have our crews there set up to do the live. Her and I will be on a stage, and media will be set in another location, and we will have microphones for people to ask questions after the interview is complete.
Are you telling me that the public is invited if there are those interested, or this is a select audience?
She's calling it somewhat of a town hall meeting. She is not afraid of answering questions. She wants to get her story out there. She says there's been a lot of misconceptions and theories about all of this that happened, and she wants to be transparent and set the record straight. So she's anyone who wants to ask her a question, she's willing to take it.
So to this point, there has been no comment either from her or Tucker, and very little from any of the attorneys involved. And she's filed the civil suit against Tucker recently. And usually, as you know, in these kinds of stories, lawyers don't want their clients to be talking publicly. Could it harm the case if something is stated publicly that's going to harm our case? Why do you think she's doing this now?
Well, I asked that question of the attorney. I said, is there anything that, is off limits? Are you going to be stepping in during the interview and saying, you can't answer that? And she said, no, I trust her. She, she said, we have nothing to hide. And they're more than comfortable. I sat down with both of them yesterday afternoon before I came into work. And, she's excited she says she's excited but terrified at the same time. I mean, this is not a comfortable thing for her to sit in front of a bunch of people and share her story, which is painful in some respects. She got emotional as we talked yesterday. So, but she believes in her heart this is the right thing to do because she is someone who was out there with her nonprofit, Set the Expectation, trying to stop sexual violence. And if she didn't come forward, it kind of, ruins her mission, because that's who she is. She said she's had a lot of time to sit down and think about, are who you say you are, and this is who she is.
The civil lawsuit that she filed, I mean, I guess if I saw her, what is she seeking from that lawsuit?
Well, her reputation has been damaged by things that have been thrown out into the media, people thinking she's someone who was out for money all along and set Tucker up. Just a lot of different theories out there about how this came to be. And it ruined her reputation. She had spent years building the reputation in the college football arena to go speak to teams. She was honored by Sports Illustrated. She was honored by ESPN for her work, and she just wants her reputation back, and she wants to continue on with her mission and her work with Set the Expectation. She's proud of what she, has accomplished, and she just wants to move on with her life. She had to get rid of her executive director of her nonprofit, and it's kind of stalled at this point, but she wants she just wants her life back.
I mean, I guess I would ask her, that's fine. This is 13 months later. Why did you wait till now with 13 months between, the termination of Tucker where all this came to light and now? Why now? Why not earlier? If that question makes sense to you at all.
It does. I mean, she obviously a lot had been going on, and during the and this is very public, during the final hearing with the MSU investigation, which was a year ago, she was sitting on a Zoom call with MSU investigators to kind of wrap up the case. And Mel Tucker and his attorneys were not on the call. They were, expected to be on that call. And during that call, they released the text messages of her now deceased business partner's phone, which did not, she says did not paint an accurate picture of things that had been going on. And she was still grieving the loss of her friend of 20 years who was in the midst of a divorce, and this phone was being in the custody of her ex-husband-to-be. And then somehow Tucker's legal team got a hold of it and released those texts during that meeting. She's been grieving the loss of her friend and the violation of her privacy. A lot of the information in those texts was private information, survivors and people she worked with. And so you'll hear her respond to that. But she says it's taken a while for her to be ready to do this.
Channel 10's Ann Emmerich is with us, 6:30 live on WILX's website, a 1-hour live interview with Brenda Tracy. Is it your sense that this move may in any way help accelerate closure to this story, or that wasn't the motive in the first place?
I think she has spoken to Kenny Jacoby, who I know you've had on your show, and they go a long way back, and that is why she shared the initial article a year ago that sort of broke this story wide open. She's, been approached by media far and wide to talk and share her story, and she knew that eventually she's, going to have to do it. And so she's finally ready now, and I think, it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. I don't know. So stay tuned.
I mean, I guess my sense is in the aftermath, will this trigger any kind of a direct response from Mel Tucker in any way or not, if you have a thought?
I mean, my thought is he will, his team will have a response to this once it's aired, and I would only imagine that something will come out from their side on this, and what that is, I don't know.
Have you determined your first question yet?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to walk through the storytelling of it. That's what we do, right? I mean, I will cut to the chase on some of the questions we all want to know. Why didn't she hang up the phone? She knows. She has an answer for that. So, that's been the one thing. And was this a setup? Why did you, wait months to report? There's a story there, and she will reveal it tonight.
And in a broad sense, did Tucker's termination, frankly, get determined simply because of the one phone call between the two of them that got an enormous amount of publicity in the aftermath of his termination and has been disputed back and forth? Or is it more to the termination? I know you can't speak for Michigan State, but is there more to the termination than just that one phone call, which has been, revealed to the public ad nauseum in the last 13 months?
I think that's where it all started, and the way it ended. She was scheduled to come back to Michigan State. She had been there twice. She was the honorary captain of the team in April for the spring game in April of 2022. She was supposed to come back that July. It was after that appearance at the spring game that this phone call happened, and Mel Tucker has admitted to the phone call. He says the relationship was consensual, but her story is that it wasn't consensual, and she was trying to move along with business to make her next visit, had scheduled all of her plans to be there in July when she was supposed to, and had rented a car. And, if you read the lawsuit, he had tried to get her alone at certain times, and, she avoided that. So she had planned to come back and do her job, and then it was canceled, and the relationship sort of went sour. And if you read the lawsuit, you see there were some threatening moments. So she'll address that all, and I think people are going to want to hear it from her. I didn't get into too much depth with her when I spoke with her in person, because I want the interview to be authentic, and I want people to hear it from her.
And she's in town specifically for this reason, or are there other reasons she's in the community and I can take care of this at the same time?
She's in town. I think she has some things she had to do with her lawyer, and the timing worked out where we could sit down and talk. I had initially tried to get her back in June, but she wasn't in town, and I didn't want to do it on Zoom because it just doesn't give you the same, I wanted to meet her in person. I wanted to do this interview in person, and this was the first opportunity where she was going to be in town where we could actually sit down and have a discussion and make it available to everyone.
So before I let you go, because I get asked this all the time, have they had any contact with Tucker? Where has he been? What has he done? What is he up to these days? And frankly, toward that end, is it ever going to come to closure between him and Michigan State?
That I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of, word around town about where he might be. As a reporter, I don't have any verified sources about where he is or what he's doing, so I can't really speak to that. And as far as his, lawsuit with Michigan State, I don't know.
Okay, so 6:30 to 7:30 live tonight on the WILX streaming website at WILX.com. She is in town and will visit with Brenda Tracy, and then after that, then we'll get the follow-up afterwards. I'm anxious to see exactly what everybody has to say. Nobody better to do it than Ann. Ann did all the work to make it work with Brenda Tracy, so that story will be a WILX lead of all the media in my sense from there. Thanks, Ann. See you later this afternoon.
I will say, Tim, I just want to add, we did contact Mel Tucker's attorneys last week. We contacted him again yesterday for comment and have not heard back. So hopefully, they will be willing to engage with us after this.
And I would think that part of this, of course, is going to be a significant story on the 11 o'clock news tonight as well, correct?
Yes, I will have a piece, sort of a wrap-up of the piece, and by that time as well, we will have a full link to the live stream that people can go and watch at their leisure.
Very good.
So they can get the whole story.
All right. Congrats on that. Thanks, Ann. Talk to you soon. Stay in touch. And I appreciate the time this morning, as usual. There you go, Ann Emmerich, with that. Let's take a quick break. Callers on the Culligan Water Hotline, you're next. You got 3 significant stories on the late news tonight in no particular order. Florida, the Tigers, and Brenda Tracy. Take your pick. My guess is they're all going to get covered, and who knows if anything else breaks between now and then. On the Wednesday, Sparrow Stout on Sports. City Limits in Mason. What a gathering place for people who've enjoyed bowling and just recreation and get-togethers for a number of years. And it's going hot and heavy, and it's safe and sound. And you ought to see all the people in the parking lot who enjoy City Limits every single day. You can sign up for a bowling league for a special occasion 7 days a week after a game, or go watch games on the big screen TV. City Limits on Cedar Street in Mason. Everybody knows where it is, and everybody loves it. You'll love City Limits, Cedar Street in Mason, too. Infinity Chiropractic, serving our area for 40 years under the ownership of Dr. Harry Satimi. Their offices cover the area between East Lansing, St. Joe Highway, and Lansing and Grand Ledge. They're always accepting new patients. They welcome patients of all ages and enjoy caring for infants, children, expectant mothers, and families. Stop in at any of the 3 offices and be sure to find a family you'll see that are having their spines checked and fixed. A total of 6 chiropractors between the 3 offices. Infinity Chiropractic. Of all the recommendations that I've ever given you on this program through the years, no one goes higher than the Munn team for real estate advice. John and Jan Munn work as hard as anyone in the business, trust me, and they truly are realtors who get results. John's cell phone, 881-6623. Jan's at 282-6781. And when they put the 1-2 whammy on a sale or to get you the best deal possible, you have the best people working for you. The Munn team, realtors who truly get results for anything real estate.
Hey, there's Matt Rhodes here at Dusty's Cellar. It's Michael Patrick Shields with Fuzzy Math, as you know. I'm here for my October 6 for $66 wine club, and this looks like there's a little trick-or-treat headed our way.
Yes, Michael, as a thank you to all of our loyal wine club members, we're offering 7 for $66 for the month of October, and you get to choose your 7th bottle, being red, white, or rosé.
Do you have to be a member of the club to get the 7 bottles for $66?
You do not. This is a thank you to all our existing club members and for those who'd like to join the club.
Hey, that's a very nice invitation. So no cost to join the club, no ongoing commitments, discounts on everything you buy, wine, beer, all of it.
That's right. You got it, Michael.
I'm in for a club pack, and I think I'm going to get a gift card for a business client. How can they get redeemed?
That's the nice thing about our gift cards. They can be redeemed in the cellar, wine bar, or the tap room. Very versatile.
Oh, so they can go in the store or come on in for a drink or have dinner or lunch and that sort of thing, too. And you can join me and Matt Rhodes at Dusty's Cellar. It's on Grand River in Okemos and online at dustycellar.com.
Cheers, Michael Patrick.
A high five to Dewey Brampson's 3 great area restaurants of different offerings. Beggar's Banquet, Abbott Road, East Lansing, off the main strip. A superstar in the area since 1973. Great happy hours from 4 to 6 Monday through Friday with a wonderful wine and beer list. Great for private parties. The Nut House, downtown Lansing, across from the ballpark. Michigan Avenue. Any great gathering is there for you before or after big events. And the Harrison Roadhouse, Michigan and Harrison in East Lansing. A bustling bar and grill with hearty pub grub and a whole lot more. Those are the great 3 from Dewey Brampson. Did you know that Michigan residents are missing out on a staggering $105 million every year? Yes, we are talking about Michiganders not returning their deposit containers, and we can do so much better in this state. So take them back. It's your beaches, your roads, and your dime. It's worth your time. Let's keep Michigan green and our wallets a little fuller. Don't let that $100 million end up in the landfills. The message from Schupan & Sons, a great company in Michigan dedicated to total recycling. For everyone, enjoy golf this season at Michigan State's Forest Acres golf courses. 2 18-hole championship layouts, a state-of-the-art practice facility referred to as the Golf Center, 2 full-service golf shops, and a full complement of services. It's a big season. For information, call 355-1635 to get a tee time either on the east or the west and get a good chance to enjoy working on your game with a variety of friends. Michigan State's Forest Acres Golf Complex for you. Prestige Wine Imports. Importers of a distinguished and diverse portfolio of high-quality Italian wines from the Italian Alps to Sicily. Well, they've now made their way to the mid-Michigan area, and the Sono Rosso and Mezza Corona wines are as popular as ever with mid-Michigan wine enthusiasts. You can find the Sono Rossos and Mezza Coronas at Dusty's Cellar in Okemos on Grand River Avenue. Ask Matt Rhodes about those, and maybe he'll give you a taste test. Or Horrocks on the west side. Sono Rosso and Mezza Corona wines, you'll love them. Hey, do you want the Munn team to help you with your real estate? Then you got to call them because they're in hot demand because nobody does real estate, we think, and they can prove it with their record right over all the years, John and Jan Munn. John's cell phone for you is 881-6623. Jan's cell phone for you is 282-6781. And remember, for grocery shopping convenience, Tom's Food Centers for you in Okemos and Portland, created by the Antaya family to get you in and out right away with whatever you need. If you tried them, Okemos and Portland, Tom's Food Centers every day to help you.
From Comerica Park to Jackson Field, we've got the sports opinions that matter to you. From the Driven Collision Studios, we make friends by accident. On the Game, 7:30 a.m.
On we go from the Driven Collision Studios here at WVFN Radio, Culligan Water Hotline. Let's see, Lansing Tom's with us on the Wednesday Sparrow Stout on Sports. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Tim, and good morning, Brad. I just come across a wire here that Caitlin Clark's going to participate in the Pro-Am Annika Sorensen tournament coming in November. So that should be interesting. She's always said she loves golf, but it's going to be interesting to see what the reaction is. And I imagine there'll be a lot of eyeballs tuning in to see her play some golf.
Well, that's the Pro-Am that does not get televised, so that won't be televised.
Now, there might be cameras out there, but there won't be. It won't be like the broadcast on the Golf Channel.
She's not in the tournament. The Pro-Am's completely different. She plays in the one in her home state of Iowa. But
the John Deere Classic.
But that doesn't get any television coverage one way or the other. You notice the television ratings for her are monstrously, for the WNBA, are enormously down now that she's no longer playing this season.
And now the finals begin later this week. Who is it? It's New York against Minnesota.
I thought the finals in that thing always ended at the end of the summer in August or September.
When the leagues began in the late 90s, it did. But now it's the finals are, I think it's later this week. It's the New York Liberty against the Minnesota Lynx.
Is that what it is?
That's what it's going to be.
I mean, I don't know how many people are well aware of that. Obviously anything like this gets dwarfed. By all the obvious. I mean, the big things, it's football and playoff baseball season. I mean, that just dwarfs all the sports coverage one way or the other.
Even the start of the hockey season, too.
So there you go. Well, now it is time for our Innovair High School Highlight, okay? Innovair, the company created by Jim Baker, salutes the Michigan High School Athletic Association on its 100th anniversary this year. Innovair wants to tell you this morning about Alexi Lallis. You've heard about him. Did you know
soccer player, yeah.
Did you know he was named Mr. Soccer by the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association in 1987 after his senior year at Bloomfield Hills Cranbrook? And he also played hockey and was part of 2 state championships in 87 and 88 for Cranbrook. But his big sport, of course, was soccer. Alexi Lallis was the first American to play in Serie A, Italy's top soccer division. He played in MLS for New England, New York, New Jersey, Kansas City, Los Angeles. He retired in 2003. He was a spectacular soccer player on the pro level. Alexi Lallis, now a commentator for Fox Sports, He previously spent 6 years with ESPN in a similar role, and he also hosts a soccer podcast called State of the Union. But Alexi Lalas got his start as a high school soccer player in Michigan at Bloomfield Hills, Cranbrook, Kingswood, and was Mr. Soccer in 1987. Innovair is your office furniture dealer working to creatively build functional and inspiring interior designs for your office, campus, or facility. A nationwide company located here in Lansing at 905 Southland Avenue. You can stop by. It's an award-winning store. Innovair is the industry's fastest-growing company, your source for design and space planning, installation, and decommission. Let Innovair's team visit your space to offer insights, okay? Stop by or call 253-8718. Innovair this morning saluting former Michigan High School Mr. Soccer winner Alexi Lalas in 1987 at Bloomfield's Cranbrook, and is still an iconic figure in the world of soccer today.
It's in the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame. That I do know.
So there you go. Yep. Let's see. We have a legitimate Pure Green Smith Tree breaking sports moment. Michigan State's next football game is at home a week from Saturday at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 10 against Iowa. This morning, Iowa running back LaShawn Williams and wide receiver Caleb Brown have announced they are leaving the program and they are entering the transfer portal. LaShawn Williams ranked 6th in the Big Ten in rushing yards a year ago with 821. He missed time in fall camp due to injury, didn't play the last 2 games after running for just 21 yards and 11 carries in 3 games. He's out of there. Caleb Johnson emerged as Iowa's top running back this season, and he ranks 2nd in Football Bowl subdivision rushing. He's run for 771 yards and 10 touchdowns. He's a junior. And he began this season with 4 consecutive 100-yard games. He ran for 206 yards and 3 touchdowns in that 31-14 win at Minnesota a couple of weeks ago. Iowa says they are entering the transfer portal, okay, because they can redshirt and sit out the remainder of the season. So there you go. 2 skilled position offensive players, LaShawn Williams and Caleb Brown, leaving Iowa's football program immediately after the Ohio State game to hit the portal and maintain a redshirt status. Yeah. The next game is coming up, okay, against Michigan State coming up a week from Saturday. Who was the guy that, the Nevada Las Vegas quarterback? Mm-hmm. He got out because he didn't get paid. And so he was discouraged because he wanted to keep his redshirt status.
Correct.
He get 4 games to play. So obviously those guys have left now because they won an extra year of college eligibility. But
right.
Iowa has limited offense to begin with. You lose those 2 guys, right? I mean, now what happens? As I just read here earlier from Ellis, it's a changing world in all college sports. He mentions college hockey, but every sport, including football, in a variety of ways, it is clearly a changing world in that regard. And by the way, the Innovair company, of Jim Baker salutes the Michigan High School Athletic Association. This is its 100th anniversary year, and every day, because of Innovair, will be reporting on significant high school achievements through the first 100 years. Lyle and Lansing is up on the Wednesday Sparrow Stout on Sports. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, just, I bet a little bit here and there, and, but there's an article this morning on ESPN. Peyton Thorne has been getting harassed by angry bettors that they want him to pay back some of their losses. Can you believe that this world is it's just getting nuts? It's absolutely nuts.
I saw him play Saturday when Auburn was at Georgia, and my golly, did he take some hits in that game and still got up. I wonder if he would have. It's one thing to transfer out of Michigan State. Did he know what he was getting into when he went to Auburn? Because you understand, if you go to Auburn and play football, your rival's Alabama, all right? And that's like Michigan, Ohio State down there. And if you don't win, so he's been in and out, because they haven't been able to find a legitimate. And this Hugh Freeze, the coach there, he has a few bizarre things to say from time to time to time. Now, Thorne started the game at Georgia, but I think they could have started Tom Brady in his prime, and they weren't going to beat Georgia last Saturday after Georgia lost at Alabama. But yeah, but
I mean,
you know,
I wonder if he really got paid when he went to Auburn, because he went down there and started out really well, and then the roof caved in on a couple games, and now he's been kind of a target.
Well, I think the angle that I see from some in the media, that the biggest issue coming forward in college sports, even though there's significant issues, the portal and name, image, and likeness, is going to be gambling. Because the reactions on social media to gambling losses at any level, let alone college football, I mean, I don't know this. What kind of reaction has Aiden Childs of Michigan State seen on social media? Because there's no accountability on social media. Anybody almost can post anything at any time without any fear of retribution, because nobody knows who you are when you're mad, so you take it out on someone else. And
I've used your son Tom's. I've used his analogy a lot. You know, hey, it's just a megaphone.
He said he thinks the second worst thing after world wars, the iPhone, is the internet. He thinks that's the second. And how's he? I don't. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember. He said the second worst thing in humanity after world wars was the creation of the internet, for a variety of reasons, because anyone responsible or otherwise gets a megaphone without accountability.
Did he mean social media, which is, I guess, an extension of what you said? It's an extension of it. Yeah, I got you.
I mean, social media is an extension. I mean, more specifically, you would say social media than necessarily the internet.
I get what he's saying, though.
You hear what he's saying.
Yep.
Because, like he says, even in the media, there are, whether they're administered properly or not, there's libel and slander. So that if you're involved, with saying something in what I call the legitimate media, of which is dwindling, in my opinion, day after day after day, but at least you're subject to countersuit in the media. But on social media, you have no idea who says all this stuff. And I can, Aiden Childs is 19 years old. He's not living at home, okay? He's living a long way from home. There's a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. I don't know him. But I can only imagine, given the fact they've lost 3 in a row, what he may have heard or experienced, which drives Izzo nuts, because it's the same thing with his basketball players, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
I mean, at least
one bad game will put you in the wrong side.
I mean, at least when I get criticism from you, you're man enough to identify where that criticism comes from. So I know exactly where it's coming from. So that's different. I always say,
I do have my moments. Yes.
How would social media be different if the only thing you could publish was positive or informational? And how would social media be different that anything that was negative in any way toward anyone else, you could be identified and criminally held accountable?
Okay, now we're getting into free speech argument, Tim.
But I like Brock's take this morning about the...
but the argument on free speech is no one has the right to go into a crowded theater, and yell fire if there's no fire. There's a difference. There's a political argument.
There's obscenity rules. Yeah, I understand.
I mean, but what I'm saying is if you lost how much money because Michigan State didn't do whatever, and you blame the quarterback in any given year, whether it's Peyton Thorne or anyone else, exactly what did you get out of that going after someone like that? But it's the way of the world, is it not? I mean, I claim you wonder why the country is so divided in so many ways. Would the country be this divided without social media? Everybody can have their own opinion on that. Would the country be as divided as it seems?
For getting that lined up, that'll be very interesting to see how that's even happening. But
I always tell her when there's something that's newsworthy in the officer community or whatever, I go right to her. And she says, well, I'm not sure. I said, yeah, but you know all this stuff. I never hear this stuff. I said, I don't know anything like you know and all that. Of course, she's very careful what she says to me. Very careful.
I wonder how you would do interviewing that, because I know you would like to snoop a little bit, go deep.
What I'd like to do is interview Tucker. I don't really have any interest in the plaintiff as much as I do the defendant, and mostly from a football sense. I mean, we still get asked endless questions about Tucker simply because he disappeared off the face of the earth here. I still remember seeing him run down the tunnel after the Richmond game as the Spartans go to 2-0 with a 45-14 win, never to be heard or seen from again.
Didn't you or Brock say that he was seen in a grocery store out in Eaton County someplace?
One of our listeners
Well, but
said,
none of that's confirmed.
One of our listeners said that she saw him at the Quality Dairy in Eaton Rapids.
But I've heard other, long shot. Getting something confirmed about all that. What surprised me most was I thought with his extensive NFL background that very quietly some pro team would hire him on the staff a little bit out of sympathy, and he's an advisor to the defense or offense or whatever it is, but he's quasi on the staff. But I haven't seen that. And someone told me who's in coaching that said when you're involved with the issues in which he allegedly is involved, that makes hiring a little bit more of a difficult process other than just because the team was losing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and then one more question. This defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, wasn't he a head coach at one time? We got in a little tiff over that the other night.
Steve Spagnuolo, yes. I think he was a head coach somewhere. I'll look it up, but he was a head coach, yes.
But they just called me an idiot and said to shut up, so I did. So.
I don't know.
No, You're not. Come on now.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good day, you guys.
We'll go to break, come back. Cullingwater Hotline is 340-263. Our email address is tim.stout@WILX.com. And on we go with the Wednesday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Here's what's on tap today here on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN. Coming up in the 12 o'clock hour, we're going to talk with Adam Nightengale, Michigan State hockey coach, third-year head coach at MSU. At 1 o'clock, ESPN Radio until 2:40. And that's when the Tigers and Guardians play at Comerica Park, Game 3 of the American League Division Series. And that's here on 1240. That's here on the game, 7:30 a.m. and 1240 WJIM. Coming up in 15 minutes, it's the Leah Johnson Coaches Show, volleyball. Talking out at 1 Northwest out by the Lansing Mall. You want to be listening to that. And that's on 1240. And that's what's on tap. The game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
It's another big sports season at Smokin' Pig Barbecue on Elmwood Drive right across from the Lansing Mall. They've added NFL Sunday ticket at the bar. You can watch all the NFL games, certainly the college games, on Saturdays. Open at 11 a.m. each day. Catering is spectacular. Questions at Smokin' Pig, call 582-5100. Their smoked barbecue menu is packed full of all the smoky classics, from pulled pork to ribs to spicy rib tips, and they have Lansing's barbecue favorites. Smokin' Pig Barbecue. Enjoy the sports seasons. Ozzy, the official jeweler of Sparrow Stout on Sports. Kitty corner from the Frandor Shopping Center with such convenient parking. But maybe you need some consultation. You can call Brooke Humble and the staff anytime at 332-7900. Every day is a special day at Ozzy Jewelers, the best jewelry store anywhere we say in Michigan, let alone the mid-Michigan area. The number again, 332-7900. For that special occasion at any time, Ozzy Jewelers to the rescue for you. As we like to remind you, Pure Green Smith Tree to the rescue for any outdoor landscaping issues that give you a problem at any time of the year. We're in the fall season now, and it's time to aerate the lawns everywhere. Call 703-1111 to get on the schedule because the Pure Green technicians are busy with thousands of customers. And if your trees and shrubs need trimming or removal, you be sure and call for an estimate. What a great company. Pure Green Smith Tree at 703-1111. You love Italian food. The Superstar Restaurant in mid-Michigan, clearly Spagnuolo's on Grand River Avenue, 3 miles east of the Meridian Mall. Award-winning pizza and Italian specialties from Mama Silvana and Amy like you'll find nowhere else. Believe me, Mama Silvana has provided her special recipes for more than 3 decades. Dine in or carry out. Call 349-9605. Closed Sundays, but what a special place. Spagnuolo's Italian Restaurant in Okemos. If you've been there, you know exactly whereof I speak.
Question for you. Would you rather pay $150 a month or $15 a month to work out with the same high-quality gym equipment? At Planet Fitness, you can get top-tier equipment for $15 a month. Plus, save $28 or more when you join now during our Strong Choice sale. Our weights weigh the same, you just don't pay the same. Enjoy free fitness training and 24-hour access at most clubs, all in the judgment-free zone. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. See club for details.
We sit excited on the bus, the sidelines, courtside, in dugouts, waiting for our shot, driven by greatness. For decades, Dean Trailways has delivered athletes safely to their battlegrounds. Not as a spectator, but as a teammate. Much more than a job. A true calling with all the purpose and performance that champions possess. Join the Dean team today and experience what it means to be driven by greatness. Go team, go Dean. DeanJobs.com.
If you're thinking about home renovation or adding or changing a deck at your home, you want Custom Built in Okemos. For more than 15 years, Custom Built Design and Remodeling has been the leading full-service design, build, remodeling company in mid-Michigan, and owner Michael Flory has built it from the ground up over the years. If you're curious about what the difference between a general contractor and a design build company is, you got to Google Custom Built in Okemos to see all they can do for you. We swear by Custom Built in Okemos, a great renovation company.
Hey, there's Matt Rhodes here at Dusty's Cellar. It's Michael Patrick Shields with Fuzzy Math, as you know. I'm here for my October 6 for $66 wine club, and this looks like there's a little trick-or-treat headed our way.
Yes, Michael, as a thank you to all of our loyal wine club members who are offering 7 for $66 for the month of October, and you get to choose your 7th bottle being red, white, or rosé.
Do you have to be a member of the club to get the 7 bottles for $66?
You do not. This is a thank you to all our existing club members and for those who'd like to join the club.
Hey, that's a very nice invitation. So no cost to join the club, no ongoing commitments, discounts on everything you buy, wine, beer, all of it.
That's right. You got it, Michael.
I'm in for a club pack, and I think I'm going to get a gift card for a business client. How can they get redeemed?
That's the nice thing about our gift cards. They can be redeemed in the cellar, wine bar, or the tap room. Very versatile.
Oh, so they can go in the store or come on in for a drink or have dinner or lunch and that sort of thing, too. And you can join me and Matt Rhodes at Dusty's Cellar. It's on Grand River in Okemos and online at dustycellar.com.
Cheers, Michael Patrick.
The Antenna Men. If you're tired of paying for subscription television, cable, I'd take a look at the Antenna Men at Eaton Rapids. Mike Heinze's company has put those antenna systems on homes and businesses. Then you get more than 60 channels, and you don't pay a dime. It's a pretty good deal, believe me. He has Cell Signal Pros to increase your cell signal service anywhere. Google both, Antenna Men and Cell Signal Pros in Eaton Rapids. They'll take care of you. And if it's printing you want, ASAP Printing, Jolly Okemos Strip Mall, parking in front, or call 349-7300 and let Ed Giles people do any printing you need. You don't need to look anywhere else.
Sports, opinions, and you. The station Lansing turns to for sports. The Game, 7:30 a.m.
From the Driven Collision Studios, I knew I would get emails in response to the interview with Ann Emmerich, some chastising one side, that being Brenda Tracy, some chastising Mel Tucker, some accusing her. So I'll read one that to me is a little supports Ann Emmerich. Tim, heard your interview with Ann Emmerich regarding her upcoming interview tonight with Brenda Tracy. I'm definitely interested in hearing what she has to say. Difficult to understand all of the facts in any case like this without hearing firsthand accounts. While I'm glad to know she wants to put her side of the story in the public domain, it will ultimately be the courts and the legal system to sort it out, not the court of public opinion. Kudos to Ann Emmerich and WILX for getting this very important interview. So that one I got in, I can read. The rest of them, just call everybody else names.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, I shouldn't be surprised.
They say, this one's lying, this one's lying. This one's not accurate, this one's not accurate. I've looked at this, blah, 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 blah. Brock has the starting lineup for the Tigers at 3:08 this afternoon at Comerica Park.
A Pure Grain Smith Tree breaking sports moment, 7:03-11:11. Mike Franco.
Where's Al Kaline in the lineup?
Mike Franco.
See
Joe
him behind
Lemon.
Willie Horton? Is that the deal? Oh, no, those guys
Well,
aren't
at least we
playing.
know who the starting pitcher is, and I'll get to that in a second. Leading off and playing center field, Parker Meadows. Batting second and the DH, the game two hero, Kerry Carpenter. Batting third and playing third base, Matt Vierling. Batting fourth and playing left field, Riley Green. Batting fifth and playing right field, Wensiel Perez. Batting sixth and playing second base, Colt Keith. Batting seventh and playing first base, Spencer Torkelson. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, Trey Sweeney. And batting ninth and catching, once again, Jake Rogers.
Would you ever have thought early in the season, March, April, May, that bunch would be the starting lineup in a second round at a divisional playoff series?
No. And starting for the Detroit Tigers today on the mound, Cater Montero.
Well, there you go.
So not Tyler Holton. It'll be Cater Montero, who has the only complete game this season. Remember the complete game shutout he threw against the Colorado? That was, I think, in August. It was either in August or early September. I can't remember exact date, but yeah, he had the only complete game, and he's going to get the start today.
Well, he'll have the support of the crowd.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
On a beautiful day, okay?
Oh, it's going to be great.
It's a beautiful day all the way around. So let's see what else we got. The Lions said yesterday their two most significantly injured players of note, Brian Branch and Frank Ragnow, they returned to practice, okay? Frank Ragnow actually punched Dan Campbell into a wall to prove he's healthy enough to play this week, okay? The Lions play the Cowboys in Dallas at 4:25. What's the pregame show? What's all the deal with that?
The Lions tailgate, Lansing Sports Network Insider, Lions tailgate, myself and Steve Goff, 2 o'clock here on WVFN. That'll take you until 3:20, and that's when the network pregame of the Lions and Cowboys begin here on the game, 7:30 a.m. and on 94.9 MMQ.
So there you go on that. Let's see, what else do I have here that we have? Tomorrow night is the opening night, regular season for the Red Wings at home against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
That'll be here on WVFN at 7:40. It's been moved back an hour. It was originally supposed to be a 7 o'clock face-off, but it's been moved back an hour because of Game 4 of the American League Division Series with the Tigers and Guardians.
The New England Patriots are announcing they're changing quarterbacks for their next game. The Patriots are 1-4. Rookie Drake May is going to get his first start against the Houston Texans.
Yep, no shock there.
And no easy game there one way or the other. So there you go. Yes, Cater Montero, he will start his pitching game. Now, how long he goes, I mean, you can almost assume that he...
5 innings max?
Well, I don't know that. I mean, if he's doing well and his pitch counts down, then he'll probably keep going.
We'll see. By the way, Lyle, yes, Steve Spagnuolo has been a head coach in the NFL with the then St. Louis Rams. He coached portions of 3 seasons in 2009, 2010, and 2011. So, yes, you're right. So you can give your friend some grief who you got into an argument with.
The New York Times is reporting this morning, a quasi-Pure Green Mystery breaking sports moment, Wimbledon will replace line judges with automated electronic line calling beginning next year, marking the end of a 147-year tradition. It leaves the French Open as the only Grand Slam tournament using human eyes for the line calls.
Indeed, I'm not surprised. The Australian Open was the first to do it. They did it right after COVID, and the U.S. Open followed suit, and now Wimbledon's going to do it. I'm not surprised in the least.
So there you go.
Because the way that the electronic line calls that they've got now is much more accurate than human eyes. And they've done surveys on this. The Pro Tours have done surveys on this, and so it's not a surprise.
How would you like this breaking news story? There's a story now that's just rounding in the news this morning that had nothing to do with sports. Turkish Airlines, a flight from Seattle to Istanbul, has landed in New York after the pilot died in the cockpit.
Oh, no.
But because there's obviously more than one pilot,
right,
the other pilot who could not revive the pilot who died in the cockpit landed the plane safely in New York. Turkish Airlines, Seattle to Istanbul. It landed in New York. Our youngest, who got married a month ago, he and his new wife, they've been on a honeymoon around the world since 3 days after the wedding, and they're just taking off today from Singapore to Kennedy in New York. You know how long that flight is? 19 hours.
No, thank you.
19 hours.
I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience to deal with that.
They did. What's the island off Italy? They did the island off Italy.
Sicily?
They did the one north of that.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They did that.
I can't think of it right now.
They did Paris. They did the African safari in Kenya. They did Dubai. They did Vietnam for a week and said Vietnam. They did Hanoi. Said it was fabulous.
They said it was great, yeah.
They did Hong Kong. They did Singapore, and now they're flying home on the 19-hour flight, Singapore. And, of course, by long distance, he's been asking about all the hurricanes because he's been gone through 2 hurricanes in Florida for his brother and others. Here are the news headlines. You join us on a busy hour number 3 as we'll keep you up to speed on everything going on and get your opinions here on the Wednesday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
How do you make everyone's favorite buffet even better? How do you make the country's best chicken even more exciting? How do you make Thursday the best night ever? Wing night at Pizza Ranch. Boneless and traditional. A variety of sauces. All the wings you want, plus all your other buffet favorites. The country's best wing night is here, taking flight Thursday nights on the buffet. Only at Pizza Ranch. Pizza Ranch, everyone's favorite buffet.
Why would you argue with people online about sports when you can argue live over the airwaves?
Cut the BS and let's get to the truth.
Sports and Sports Talk is on the Game, 7:30 a.m. Welcome to the third and final hour of the Sparrow Stout on Sports, starring Tim Stout on the Game, 7:30 a.m.
Hour number 3 this morning is brought to you by Capital Region International Airport. Whenever you can do it, fly Lansing first. Whenever the Florida airports get open again, Breeze Airways nonstop to Lansing and Orlando and Fort Myers. And, of course, in January, Apple Vacations has 3 new nonstops to 3 new destinations in the Caribbean. It's convenient, obviously, in a variety of ways whenever you can fly Lansing first, okay? I had to change that intro, right, because it was such a big deal with Breeze Airways with the nonstops into Florida. And virtually every significant Florida airport is closed as we speak. I said to Brock this morning, so last night, Lester Holt and NBC, they're down in the Tampa area.
Oh, of course they are.
So she says, Doc says, well, when are they getting them out of there? I said, they're not going anywhere. NBC's going to be, I don't know about the other networks. My guess is they must all be there. But if there's all kinds of private planes they use and those airports are closed, how and when do they get them out of there? And I told Brock, I said, the Tampa television market is extremely competitive. I mean, they have news everywhere. Every station under the sun in that area of Florida has local news. And they have brilliant stations. I mean, the facilities are absolutely state-of-the-art for all of them there, which feeds down to Sarasota. In fact, there's a great television, Channel 10's great television.
Oh, okay.
There's a great station in Sarasota.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm wondering, as heavily involved with local news the Tampa television market is, how are each of those stations going to handle this story on air safely? Commercial breaks, no commercial. How are they going to handle? Because you have to.
When you're in broadcasting, you think of stuff like this.
You gotta take care of your employees.
Oh my goodness!
Where are you going to deploy them as well? Okay, because that market's a vast market. I mean, you're going all the way down through Sarasota and Venice, Bradenton, all the way up, into the Tampa area, Innisbrook and above, and then inland. Okay, there, that goes another 30, 40 miles to Lakeland. Where do you send your crew? How do you keep them all safe? What kind of hours do they have? Then I thought about law enforcement. How much law enforcement is required to get through this thing, and your staff itself with law enforcement to prevent people from taking advantage and breaking the law because people aren't where they normally would be.
Looting.
How does all that work? How much is the cost going to be in overtime? Who pays that? How's that going to get? I mean, there's so many issues when you have a story that's essentially potentially catastrophic to such a wide area. The Florida people are those who are the veterans there, they've been through this so many times, maybe not to this extent, but what was it? My mother said yesterday, my sister drove her through the Siesta Key area on Sunday after Helene, and she said that there were roadblocks everywhere, realizing this was coming. And every plow and dump truck they had available in that area was as fast as they could, getting rid of all the debris that had been piled up in front of homes from Helene so that those don't become flying missiles during this one coming up.
Oh, man.
There are just so many issues that I've thought about all that and wondering how that's going to play out, especially in the next 24 hours. Emails, Tim, how many Michiganders will call in sick today to attend the Tiger game or watch it on TV? I don't think nearly as many as you think, because there's too many other ways you can still go to work and watch the game. He says, what possibly could be the reason or advantage for playing this game early afternoon instead of the early evening when you would have more eyeballs watching? Well, that's a network decision.
Well, the thing is, the network, TBS, has determined that the New York Yankees-Kansas City series is of more importance, if you understand what I mean. So that, because it's New York, they get preferential treatment, if you want to look at it that way.
He says,
I get it.
He says, what did the Tigers do to Major League Baseball? This is 2 series in a row when we get stuck with afternoon games. Absolutely no respect. Well, they're going to fill the stadium, I think where you get people that don't go to work is those who have tickets for the game on a midweek game in the middle of the afternoon. I mean, those to me are the ones that are going to have to miss work. You can watch a game on your telephone anywhere, right?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, computer. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so that
tablet, smart.
I mean, I don't believe there'll be. I mean, Fred took the day off Monday because Monday because the Tigers.
Now, see, that doesn't make sense because there's all 4 games are being played today. You would think that, and we're seeing a picture of Matlaca, Florida, and it looks like the outer bands are hitting it right now, and the camera is shaking, and that's a little freaky. But you would think today would be the day that Fred would take off because all 4 games are going on today.
Well, he's got to work at some point. I mean, he was going to stay today. I doubt he'll go tomorrow because the game tomorrow is at 6:08.
Right.
So you get a night game tomorrow. All right, you do get a night game tomorrow. Yep. But this afternoon is, it is what it is. I don't think that many people take it up. And by the way, it'd be one thing if this was the Lions on a Wednesday afternoon playing, in the NFL playoffs. That might be a little bit different. But the NFL doesn't do it that way. They play on the weekends or they play at night. But you don't have as many teams involved either. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic. Plus the fact the major networks aren't really involved with this. The major networks have got out of Major League Baseball, and you're going to see more and more, including ESPN. ESPN reportedly is trying to shut down its future with Major League Baseball. It's too expensive, and they don't have enough viewers. Simple as that. Now,
well, they've backed off tremendously in recent years. Remember they used to do Baseball Tonight every night at 10 o'clock during the season? They haven't done that in several years.
I mean, if you're going to continue a relationship with Major League Baseball and ESPN is saying you're not going to get the money that you want and what you've had.
Because their deal runs... what did I think it was next year?
They've got a couple of years, I think, left on the deal they have.
The full deal is through 2027, yeah. They would cover probably, Sunday Night Baseball and a handful of other special events. And then what did I see
earlier this week? Bally Sports is only going to carry a couple of teams moving forward next year, and there are a couple of Major League teams that are now going to put their network together via Major League Baseball.
The Guardians, I saw this yesterday, yeah.
I think... Is it the Twins are involved with that as well?
And
Atlanta.
Right.
I mean, there's only Bally Sports Detroit, to me, got caught up in the syndrome of paying too many rights fees, and we can't get the money back, to make a profit out of this. In fact, we're losing our shirt on this.
Here it is right here.
Because we don't have the advertisers willing to pay what we need to charge because we don't have the audience, because Major League Baseball's audience is nowhere near what it is for NFL football. Nowhere near.
Right. We've talked about that ad nauseum. Alden Gonzalez of ESPN writes, Major League Baseball announced yesterday, Tuesday, it will produce and distribute local games for the Guardians, Brewers, and Twins for next season, signaling that all 3 teams will break away from the bankrupt Diamond Sports Group, which is the parent company of Bally's. The Texas Rangers will also break away from Diamond, which is 19 months into Chapter 11, but is considering other local media options for next season. The Guardians, Brewers, and Twins will join the Rockies, Diamondbacks, and Padres as teams under MLB's umbrella. The Diamondbacks and Padres were dropped by Diamond last year. The Rockies were previously affiliated with Warner Brothers Discovery, who shut down or sold their regional sports network at the end of last year. MLB, MLB, which launched a local media division when Diamond went into bankruptcy, will negotiate cable and satellite distribution agreements and make local streaming available through MLB.tv. Joining MLB and thus not being tied to the territorial rights associated with distributors will eliminate blackouts. MLB projects that games for the Guardians and Twins will see increases of upwards of 300% in reach. They did not have a direct-to-consumer streaming option this past season. The Guardians, Twins, Brewers, and Rangers were all on expiring deals with Diamond. 8 other teams, the Braves, Rays, Angels, Reds, Marlins, Cardinals, Royals, and Tigers, are still in limbo. Of course, the Tigers just finished their season.
I mean, I can tell you from talking to the Valley Sports Detroit employees, understandably, they're all edgy.
Sure.
And they got a lot of employees and a lot of on-air people. And whether they, have to curtail some of what they do. I've never understood why they need as many people on the Tiger games as they use during the season.
Yep. Diamond recently submitted a reorganization plan that calls for it to shed broadcasting rights for every team in its portfolio except the Braves, though the company is seeking renegotiated terms with the other teams, which they've done with the Pistons and the Red Wings to a degree.
I think Major League Baseball taking over this, first of all, it's probably their only option. But wait till they see how easy it is to get advertising money falling in the door, because it isn't nearly as readily available as it used to be before.
And now, Tim, with a new collective bargaining agreement after the 2026 season, they may not have as much money coming in to pay the players. Players aren't going to believe it. They never do. So we could have a problem.
Well, the problem's going to be where the owners say, I don't care what you think. You already think there's collusion. We're already losing the money we're losing. I mean, this is what we're willing to pay. So you could have guys that they're thinking they're going to be $200 million players, but nobody's going to offer that because they don't have it. The way people erroneously have thought. To me, the Bally story is absolutely the tip of the iceberg. And you don't see the major networks involved with Major League Baseball.
Only Fox.
Fox is the only one.
Fox is the only one. And
if Fox is going to stay with it, Major League Baseball is going to have to get the word from Fox. We're your only major network, so here's what we're going to do.
Because nobody else wants it.
And by the way, if they want these games in the afternoon on weekdays or whenever they want them, that's the way it's going to be. Television will dictate the pros. Just like they dictate the colleges. That's just, it depends. How much do you want to get paid? The more you get paid, the more we're going to be the one that's going to tell you what to do.
Which is, it's already happening.
That's just the way
now.
And obviously broadcast rights are a huge factor in contributing revenue to pay all the bills at both the college and the professional level. And that trend to me is clearly going to continue. So there's that. So we have the first pitch of the Tiger. You don't think it's a zoo down there right now, lunchtime in downtown Detroit?
Come on, there's people tailgating like crazy.
Every one of them, because good weather is a huge factor in this too.
It's part of it, yep.
Because people are they're in a good mood and they're in a party mood and it's a big deal and it's fun to go to the ballpark and it's going to be packed, blah blah blah, the whole deal.
I told you this during the break. You said keep that up there on Twitter. Braylon Edwards, the Braylon Edwards, a former Michigan wide receiver, 20 minutes ago tweeted this out. Robert Saleh will be the defensive coordinator next year for the Lions because Aaron Glenn will be the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Book it. His words, not mine.
Robert Saleh, of course, is a native of Dearborn.
Yes, from the
And he
Detroit
was
area.
a graduate assistant coach at Michigan State under Nick Saban back in the 1990s.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's right.
And he was let go, of course, yesterday as the head coach of the New York Jets.
He had 1 year left on his contract after this year, so basically a year and a half left. So he'll get paid for a year and a half.
Michigan State hockey coach Adam Nightengale is due to join us at approximately 12:45. The Spartan hockey team practices in the morning and is practicing right now, so we'll get him off the ice. It's Michigan State and number 2 ranked Boston College. Boston College is playing its first games of the season at Michigan State, 6 o'clock Friday, 6 o'clock Saturday. It's the big deal here on campus this weekend of the sports.
Both on 1240 WJIM Friday and Saturday.
And then men's basketball on Sunday, 1 o'clock, Big Ten Network at Northern Michigan University. And then after that at 4:25 on Fox, the Detroit Lions at the Dallas Cowboys. I guess you can say preceding that at 11 o'clock, the Sunday Stout on Sports at 11 o'clock every Sunday morning in advance of all the big games. Let's take a quick break, come back. You're available to us on the Cullingan Water Hotline. Until then, till Adam Nightengale at 340-263. Emails are welcome. Our email address is tim.stout@wilx.com. On we go. This is the Wednesday Sparrow Stout on Sports. One of the most popular restaurants in our area for years continues that way. Woody's Oasis on Trowbridge Road in East Lansing. As the saying goes, eat at Woody's, live longer with a Mediterranean cuisine. And now the menu has some wonderful new items they're all excited about. Chicken kafta, along with their Woody's burgers, gyros, fries, and a whole lot more. For all the information, the website, woodysoasis.com, or call 351-2280. Woody's. Eat at Woody's, Trowbridge Road, East Lansing, and live longer. Bull Janitorial, the name to trust in the commercial cleaning industry around mid-Michigan. They offer a wide range of janitorial, custodial, and maintenance services. In addition to professional cleaning services, they also supply materials and equipment such as restroom supplies and more. There is not another commercial cleaning company you'll find that does it all for you like Bull Janitorial. They're open 24/7 when you need help. Call them 694-6642. Great employment opportunities at Bull Janitorial as well. You never know what time of year you're going to need the talented people and services of Doty Mechanical, 615 South Waverly in Lansing, one of the terrific service companies in our area through the years. Heating issues, cooling issues. You need a generator. You need plumbing help. All of that and more from the great technicians at Doty Mechanical. They carry the Carrier products. They're the exclusive distributor in the area. 327-7777, 327-7777. When you need that kind of help, call Doty Mechanical. Mexican food like nowhere else. The Qdoba restaurants in our area, especially Okemos, East Lansing, and Clifford Street, Frandor, serving customized burritos, crave-worthy tacos, and so much more. You can order online, and there are many health-oriented options as well. Great for carry-out and catering. In Okemos, call 580-8121. Always popular, always tasty, with great service every day. Qdoba, for the Mexican taste sensation everyone enjoys every day in every way. You'll love the Mexican Qdoba restaurant.
Transform your home in one weekend with paint from Menards. Get a paint that combines durability and gorgeous color. Dutch Boys Forever Interior Paint and Primer in One offers powerhouse protection with its stain-blocking, odor-reducing technology. And with Dutch Boys' easy-opening, smooth-pouring container, transforming your home has never been easier. View our entire selection of Dutch Boy paint on Menards.com. Plus the weekly flyer and other great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
This could be your favorite sports bar in Lansing. Arts Pub, Kalamazoo Street in Lansing, serving all three shifts. Downtown in Lansing, 977-1033 for questions or carryout. The menu is at artspublansing.com. Closes at 11 p.m. each day. Outdoor seating, serves great cocktails, no reservations needed. Mellow game day hangout, serving a wide menu of pub grub and pizza and a shuffleboard table. Greg Sinacropi has done a great job making Arts Pub spectacular downtown.
You're not sure your knees can handle 18 holes, but I am.
You can't imagine a morning without pain, but I can.
You've never heard anybody make that sound, but I have.
I'm Dr. Michael Shingles.
Dr. Arjuna Cuddyback.
Dr. Andrew Scorfar.
We've seen it all.
And now you can see us here at University of Michigan Health Sparrow.
Mid-Michigan's nationally recognized orthopedics and sports medicine center.
Learn more and find a highly skilled specialist at ufmhealthsparrow.org/orthopedics.
Tailgating season or any other special occasion, Tom's Food Centers in Okemos and Portland are ready to make it great for you. The entire family has created Tom's Food Centers, and they upgrade the stores with new renovations on a consistent basis. And it's also so convenient to get in and out right away 7 days a week. A lot of things on sale. The stores are fully stocked. They're neat, clean, sanitary. And for all those special occasions, you can dart in and out anytime, 7 days a week. Try them. Tom's Food Centers in Okemos and Portland. One of the great recreation centers in our area for more than 50 years. Royal Scott Golf and Bowl just west of the airport. Fun for everyone every day all year long. Golf, bowling, food, banquets, parties, and so much more. Check out the brand new 5,600-foot LED screen in the bowling center. No other house has such a feature in America. Bowling leagues and golf indoors are out all year long and so affordable where everyone can have fun. Royal Scott Golf and Bowl, so affordable and so much fun for you always. All right, don't forget Sparty's Coney Island in Frandor tomorrow, Thursday, 20% off burgers. Every Thursday at Sparty's Coney Island in Frandor, open until 2 o'clock each day. And don't forget Smokin' Pig Barbecue opposite the Lansing Mall. They've got NFL Sunday Ticket. You can watch all the NFL games in the Smokin' Pig Barbecue Bar on Sundays, the college games on Saturdays. And don't forget, for the best in Italian food, they're busy every night, closed on Sunday. Those Spagnolos, 3 miles east of the Meridian Mall in Grand River Avenue. You'll love the Italian food from Spagnolos just east of the Meridian Mall.
From Mud Ice Arena to Little Caesars Arena, we've got the sports opinions that matter to you. From the Driven Collision Studios, we make friends by accident on the Game, 7:30 a.m.
Well, the Driven Collision story of the day, of course, a Tiger game coming up at 3 o'clock this afternoon at home, Game 3 against Cleveland. Tonight, you get New York at Kansas City. Both the American League Series are tied at a win apiece in a best-of-5 series. Cullingha Water Hotline in Holt. Tom's up on the Wednesday Sparrow Stout on Sports. Morning, Tom.
Good morning, Tim, or afternoon. I love your with Mike and the Illinois and Michigan exchanges. Those really add to the show. I really enjoy them.
Good.
And I was reminded of it one time that as a sidelight to that game, Fielding Yost was stalking his way to the train after the game. And he was joined by his wife, and the first words that she said to him were, "Couldn't you put someone on the field that could tackle that red-haired boy?" he did not take well to his wife saying that, is what rumor has it. But it's just kind of a funny aside to that story.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there were Fielding Yost quotes attributed to that. That was one of his last years at Michigan, 1924. That's a good first half, though, when you can go for about 6 long touchdown runs in a 39-14 win. And Michigan came in; they hadn't lost a game in 2 years going into that game. Right. Yeah. So it wasn't as if Michigan was a dog team. That Michigan had a good team that year.
Yeah, Grange is just an amazing story. I mean, he basically was Hallis also, obviously, but Grange basically was the star that made. As much as like Ruth did as well for Major League Baseball to bring it onto the national stage. And Grange did that too at the same time. So,
yeah, as did Jim Thorpe to a degree.
Yeah, to a certain extent. Yep. Although there were some sides to that were a little bit different. But yeah, Tilden and Bobby Jones would also fall in that category too. So. Anyway,
there you go. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate sharing that. I said to Brock, it used to be in recent years when you play football at Illinois, there'd be 40,000 people in a 70,000-seat stadium, and they're not playing for much. Well, even though Illinois lost at Penn State 21-7, that's the only loss, and they've been tough at home. So now they're going to beat Purdue. They're a 19.5-point favorite. Purdue's in almost complete disarray. All they're talking about at Purdue was the buyouts, $9.3 million to second-year coach Ryan Walters, which you have to bet.
They're already talking about firing him now?
They're in the newspapers they are.
Oh, okay. Petey's keeping you updated, of course.
I read the Indianapolis Star this morning, and they went through everything that has to happen to get him out. I don't know who you're going to hire that thinks that's a magical job in the Big Ten. Yeah, nonetheless,
good luck.
Purdue's at Illinois. Yes, and when Michigan goes there next week on their 100th stadium anniversary game, the place is going to be packed.
Yes.
Partly because Illinois is good, partly because Michigan's in town, partly because it's the 100th year anniversary.
And it's nationally televised on CBS.
So it's a big deal at 3:30. They get Danielson and
Nestler and Danielson.
And all they're going to talk about, because Michigan's coming off a bye week, is Michigan going to have any offense for this game? Are they going to have any offense for this game? And then Michigan State plays there on November the 16th.
Yeah.
So once again, it's not as if it doesn't mean that the teams on the field the road teams can't win. State had, 2 years ago, they had the big win during a losing season, and Illinois had gotten off to a great start. Remember, really State went in there, and that was after the 8 guys got suspended from the Michigan game. Remember that?
After the tunnel incident.
After the tunnel, and they lost 8 guys, and it's just automatic Illinois is going to win.
It was a windy day that day.
And State pulled that thing out.
Yes, they did, yeah.
So now they go back there on November the 16th. But obviously the motivation motivation is going to be at an all-time high for Illinois football. It's hard enough to play there in basketball because Illinois' basketball team's usually pretty good. So you go down there and if you're state, you're a big game because you're playing state or whatever. Well, in football, when you're Michigan going in there, as many times as Michigan has dominated so many teams through the years of the Big Ten, if Illinois has a chance to hang one on them, I don't know that that'll happen. But Illinois is not bad.
No,
I mean, they've only got
better.
And for that matter, I mean, like you say, Illinois, frankly, is still in the heart of the Big Ten race. You only have one conference loss.
Yeah, you can't eliminate any of the one-loss teams yet for the Big Ten championship. And why does that matter? Because the Big Ten champion almost certainly, well, yes, they will be in the college football playoff. And even if you have one conference loss, you still have a chance at it. So we'll see what happens. With that, there's 4 teams that are undefeated in league play: Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State. And Ohio State is at Oregon Saturday night, and Penn State's at USC Saturday afternoon.
All right, so we've been talking about television sports a little bit, the future and the pros, and why baseball's on in the afternoon and that. The day is coming more often than not in the National Football League that you're going to be able to watch 4 games in the same Sunday because Commissioner Roger Goodell says he expects the league is going to expand to 16 international games each year. What is it now, 2, 3? What is it?
I think it's 8.
Well, no, it was 3. They played in Brazil.
That's 1.
And they've got 2 in London.
They've already played 2 in London.
He says they're going to 16.
Or no, they're going to play the third one. They're going to play the second one in London coming up. Yeah, Jacksonville's playing somebody.
So, and Goodell says an 18-game regular season schedule is going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's a matter of when.
So now the implementation is when, and it'll be sooner rather than later. And to get everybody connected, they need international games because then in the American time zones, on the Eastern time zone, that's 9:30 in the morning.
Yes.
You could have watched the Vikings and the Jets from London last Sunday morning at 9:30. Then you get the 1 o'clock game.
And then 4:25.
The 4:25 game, and then the NBC game at night.
Exactly.
If you so desire.
Right.
But if you get the red zone, which I do, I mean, you just hit that thing, and every single game that's being played, there's no commercial breaks or anything in that whatsoever.
Very few. I understand. Yeah, very few commercial breaks. Yeah.
I mean, they've got that thing down to a science. So that if you're a freak gambler and you got to keep up to date,
or fantasy football.
I mean, the reason they call it the
football.
red zone is if you're in the red zone during the game, they hit that. That's the picture you get.
Yeah.
But they can put 4 on there at the same time.
For those of people who don't know what the red zone is, that's inside the other team's 20-yard line. So let's clarify that.
So there you go. What about the Pistons game last night? We haven't had any pub on the Pistons. It was on Bally Sports Detroit last night. Izzo did some commentary during the second.
Oh, did he really? Of course, I don't get Bally Sports.
Well, there was not
right
a big crowd for that. I mean, it was an average crowd. A lot of the upper deck was empty.
Oh, okay.
And you could see clumps of seats in the lower bowl that were empty. And, it's an exhibition game. There were about 9,000 three-point shots attempted because if you shoot from out there, you may not make it, but you won't get hit either. Why are you going to get into a huge physical? And there actually were a couple of little, the guys that are trying to make the team, they got to play their brains out.
Right.
Kevin Durant can just kind of go at his own speed. I guess Phoenix, is supposed to be a big deal this year.
Well, they just fired their latest coach. What, Frank Vogel?
Cade Cunningham went 1 for 6. He went
Did he really?
He went 1 for 6.
I guess Jalen Duren had 17 points, I guess.
And that Jaden Ivey was quoted after the game as saying it was like the college atmosphere when Purdue, and I thought, what are you talking about? There were twice as many people there for the Purdue-Michigan State game as there were last night. I don't know what they called the official attendance, but it was nowhere near a capacity.
Okay.
But Bally Sports Detroit had it. And so, again, Izzo was on. They just were yakking with him for the second quarter.
Who was it, with George and Greg?
Yeah, George and Greg were there. So that was the deal on Bally Sports Detroit last night. And now Bally's has got the Red Wings opening game at 8 o'clock tomorrow night against the Pittsburgh Penguins, which normally would have its own big, because the Red Wings want to make the playoffs and they're going to make it this year.
There's pressure on them to make it this year.
Pittsburgh's a big deal.
Sidney Crosby
and all
Jimmy
that.
Malkin, yeah.
But it's going to be on opposite, clearly, what could be an enormous emotional time with the Tigers in Game 4 because somebody, either Cleveland or Detroit, at the end of that game can clinch with a win. It'll either be the Tigers or the Indians because Game 4, it'll either be 2-2 or somebody wins it 3-1. The game's not going to go 2 hours. It'll go longer than that. So the Red Wings game will just start as they're getting into the later stages of Game 4.
You'll hear it here on WVFN at 7:40. Tomorrow night. Ken Cal, Paul Woods. Once again, man, they've been together for, almost 30 years now.
I mean, it'd just be chaos in downtown Detroit.
Yeah.
And if you're going to the Red Wings game, you're still going to have to figure out where in the if you don't have their deck parking. And I think their deck parking at times is made available for the Tigers in Comerica Park or the Lions at Ford Field.
Correct.
So how all that works out, I'm not privy to all that at all. But at any rate, that's what we got coming up. So there you go. And, of course, Michigan State men's basketball, 1 p.m. Sunday on the Big Ten Network at Northern Michigan. Amongst all of the festivities up there, I guess what the night before Izzo's number 10 is being retired by Northern Michigan University. They only have one other jersey in basketball retired there. I want to say it's number 54 for whoever. And, their team, they won the GLIAC last year.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, Northern won the GLIAC. So they won their league title. So can they hang in there with State? Tom says it's just a fun weekend, but it'll be a fun weekend if he likes the way his team plays. He won't win any close game out of that, but he's up there simply because he wanted to do something to help Northern Michigan University. Like he said yesterday, I've been to other towns for exhibitions and practices and all that of the players. Now this time they get to go see where I came from, which was Marquette and Northern Michigan University. So there you go. We have one final timeout. We're going to visit with Adam Nightengale, Michigan State's head hockey coach, here in a few minutes. The Spartans are wrapping up practice this morning. They'll get another workout tomorrow, and then 6 p.m. Friday, 6 p.m. Saturday, Mount Arena, the home opening series against the number 2 ranked team in the preseason polls, making its debut this season. Boston College didn't play last week. Michigan State won 2 games at Lake Superior State. And that's where we stand with that, and we'll get to that and more when we return after this final timeout on the Wednesday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
At Shaheen Cadillac of Lansing, you drive the future with luxury at your fingertips. Experience our lineup of eye-catching sedans and SUVs. Cadillac is the next generation of high-end technology where remarkable comfort and attention to detail change the way you drive. Meet with one of our product specialists today or begin your experience online at ShaheenCadillac.com.
Get this 2024 Cadillac XT6 for just $592 a month.
Relax and enjoy the Shaheen difference.
You need a family physician at any time for any issue. You want Lansing's veteran Dr. Thomas Jameson, who has faithfully served thousands of mid-Michigan families for more than 50 years. He's a member of the SEMA team now, Capital Internal Medicine Associates. His office phone, 374-7600, and his office at 3955 Patient Care Drive. Dr. Jameson has helped so many people in so many ways. He gives physicals to athletes at the same time. Dr. Thomas Jameson for you. Does your business struggle with poor cell service inside the building? Poor cell signal in the place of work can create communication problems with internal staff and outside clients. The Antenna Men are cell signal pros. They've provided solutions to clients all over Michigan, and they'll provide solutions to help your staff be more productive in a great way. Cell Signal Pros also has solutions for homeowners as well. Go to the Antenna Men and Cell Signal Pros. Google the company. It's great in many different ways.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
Dreaming of a fun and affordable getaway? Breeze Airways can take you there. With Breeze Airways, you can fly direct from Lansing's Capital Region International Airport to Fort Myers and Orlando for just $79. What are you waiting for? Go to www.flybreeze.com or download the Breeze app to book your trip. Breeze Airways offers flexible and friendly policies, so you can always travel with peace of mind. Come and see why we were just awarded the 2024 Apex Award for Best Seat Comfort in North America. With Breeze, traveling from Lansing to fun, sunny Florida destinations has never been easier. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
$79 no flex fare promotion is available only when booking a new reservation for LAN, RSW, RSW, LAN, LAN, MCO, and MCO, LAN. Promotion must be purchased by October 31, 2024, 11:59 p.m. ET for travel from September 24, 2024 through February 2, 2025. Price displayed includes taxes and government fees. Fare prices, fare classes, rules, routes, and schedules are subject to change or exemption without notice. Any changes or modifications to qualifying promotional reservations will be subject to fare repricing. A difference in airfare at the current fare price may apply. Other restrictions and blackout dates may apply.
The official printer of the Sparrow Stout on Sports, ASAP Printing at the Jolly Okemos Plaza. Plenty of parking in front. Call 349-7300. This is Ed Giles' 31st year with a company that has grown every single year. Posters and signs, they're a specialty, but even business cards or anything smaller is there for you. You want the most reliable printer? Take our word for it. You don't need to go bid anywhere else. ASAP Printing for you in the Jolly Okemos Strip Mall. It's amazing to me the fabulous quality of Wash World in cleaning your vehicle. 2 locations in our area. Okemos and Jolly Road, and on the west side, I-96 at the MLK exit. State-of-the-art, full service, free vacuum. Who offers that? $2 off on Wednesday, gift cards available, and you can get monthly and yearly wash subscriptions. You're in and out right away. Your vehicle looks great any time of the year. Make your car or truck look great at Wash World. The best in quality, the fastest service, believe me, in Okemos and Westside Lansing.
It's never too soon to get a jump on your holiday shopping, especially at Meijer. Start saving this week with our earliest holiday deals and get over 40% off on items like Mr. Coffee Coffee Maker or SodaStream Terra Machine. Start checking off your list and get 20% off on select toys like Nerf and Series Dart Blasters, Play-Doh play sets, and assorted puzzles. Shop even more great gift ideas like these in the Meijer Holiday Gift Guide, available on Meijer.com, in-store, or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
If it's pizza you want at any time for any reason, 6 cottage and gourmet pizza locations in our area with a wide menu of a variety of different wonderful products and offerings for you. Our official pizza is Cottage and Gourmet Pizza. And don't forget Dusty's, okay? The best in casual fine dining. Lunch is now being served at times in the wine cellar. Call 349-5150 for details. And check out the wine options that you hear Michael Patrick and Matt talk about from time to time, especially at this time of the year. Dusty's, Grand River Avenue in Okemos.
It's always game time.
Game on! Game on!
We're the game, 7:30 a.m.
On the go from the Driven Collision Studios here at WVFN Radio. The high school football broadcast coming up Friday night. We'll have a pregame at 5 o'clock.
So technically the afternoon.
Yeah, and 6 o'clock would be kickoff because it's East Lansing at Lansing Everett. Both of them still have playoff aspirations.
Oh, big time.
Especially Everett. Because Everett has only lost 1 game and is 5-1 after an impressive win over Grand Ledge this last weekend, and now East Lansing, who's dropped 2 in a row to fall to 3-3 after losing at Davis. And I don't know whether Jace Clarizio played in that game or not. I'm hearing he didn't, but I haven't. But whether that's actually the case or not, I don't know that completely. But Game 7, the key game of the week, is East Lansing at Lansing Everett.
And we'll be at Archie Ross Stadium for that. We hit the air with the pregame at 5 o'clock, and then Eric, Doc, Love, and I will be from Archie Ross Stadium just before 6 o'clock. So looking forward to that. I've seen both teams. Everett, very impressive offense, a solid defense against Grand Ledge last week, and East Lansing, man, hard to believe, kind of fighting for their playoff lives right now. Although, well, yeah, I guess kind of. Yeah.
I think the area team that has come on recently and is making noise is Mason. Now at 5-1 after an early landslide loss to DeWitt, but since then has certainly righted the ship to get to 5-1. And then the two best teams in the area clearly are DeWitt and Portland, and they are both 6-0. So that's where they are. So Michigan State hockey practice is ending. Third-year head coach Adam Nightengale is on the other end of our line with the Spartans hosting Boston College 6 p.m. Friday and Saturday. I hope I didn't get you out of practice early. Is practice completely done now?
Yeah, no, we're done. No, thanks for having me. We had practice kept going. I probably wouldn't have been able to call in, so appreciate you. Appreciate you having me.
So, Adam, there's a story breaking this morning. Dave Ellis sent me this text. He sent me this morning. The NCAA Division I Management Council has introduced legislation that will allow major junior players to be eligible in college hockey. The vote on it will come up at the November meeting, and the proposed effective date would be next August 1st. It's expected to pass comfortably. He says college hockey is changing. What do you make of that? And if that all occurs, how would that affect recruiting at Michigan State?
Yeah, this has gone on for a while where people have talked about it. And, I think with the changing landscape, and so really what it boils down to is young hockey players that are good players have an option to play in the Canadian Hockey League. Once they decide to do that, if they decide to do that at 16 years old, they lose their college eligibility. So that would go out the window. So you're talking roughly, 60 teams that are in the Canadian Hockey League, so maybe 1,300 players that potentially would come available to play college hockey.
So generally speaking, would you be looking at those players differently from previous because there could be good enough players to help Michigan State one day?
For sure, yeah. No, I think we, our job's to find the best players, and you're talking about 1,300 more players that are in the pool. The odds are, and there's a lot of good ones, and so yeah, I mean, this could change our recruiting, but and where we're going. But at the end of the day, again, our goal is we want to try to find the best players, and this would open up more of them.
Right. Is it possible that the opponent you have coming in for your home opening series this weekend might possibly be as good a team as you'll play the entire season?
They are. They're very. I think when the smoke settles here, there'll be a for sure contender for the national championship. They return a lot. They've added some guys. James Hagen's is supposed to be the first pick in the NHL draft next year, and a couple of they got a really good goalie and some guys returning. So yeah, they're a very talented, gifted team, and their coaching staff does a great job with them.
So because this is Boston College's opening series and the Spartans have played two, do you think that's a significant difference or not?
I don't know. I mean, you could argue both ways, right? Advantage we played, advantage they've got film on our team. So I still think it's early season hockey, and I think when you talk about early season hockey, it can be chaotic at times. So we're excited about having them in, and we got a chance to go out there and play them last year, and we lost 2 games, but I thought we learned a lot about our team, and I think that's kind of the goal here, right? We want to go out and play our best hockey and find some things that we like about our team and find some things that we need to keep working on. Right.
Was there anything about the Lake Superior series in hindsight that surprised you in any way?
I don't think anything surprised us. I mean, it's great getting back up there, and obviously an old CCHA rival. And you look at the ties, our program. Ron Mason was the founding father of their program, and Coach Comley was his captain, and eventually the coach there. And I think just we got 9 new players, and what I liked about the group is that first night. The first period it was again early season hockey, a little bit helter skelter. Second, we took some penalties, but in the third, there was no panic. We kind of got to our game, and I thought that third period on Friday night was a really good sign that we stuck together and ended up winning in overtime, and then I kind of started where we left off on Saturday night.
Do you like the fact that you started the season as early as you did? Because, as you know, in recent years, sometimes other teams had played an initial early October week before getting going. I mean, obviously, that's what Boston College has chosen to do. Or does it really not make much difference to you either way?
No, I think we if you look at, I think it was 6 weeks of practice before we played a game, and not all of it was full. It was, it was 4-hour weeks. So I would love if we could start even earlier, but that's kind of out of my control. So, yeah, I mean, I think I'm excited about our schedule. I'm glad that we got to get on the road as a team that's trying to come together. And again, having a team like Boston College come in this weekend I think it's great for our fans and great for our program.
Could the dress list change from Friday to Saturday? And the dress list Friday, will that be different if you know right now from last weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still sorting some of those things out, and but yeah, one of the things we really believe in is competition's the greatest driver in development. And you got to earn it every week, and guys we've had 3 days of practice this week. Tomorrow will be the 4th, and guys are pushing for spots, and we're learning our players too, and that's our job as a staff is try to put the lines together and power play units and penalty killers together that gives us the best chance to play our best hockey.
Yeah, it ought to be I didn't know. I heard you say we had your soundbite on this is the 50th season of Munn Ice Arena. Is that what it is? And toward that end, will that be observed in any special way during the winter season?
Yeah, we're obviously super proud of the tradition of our not only our program but our rink. I think it's one of the rinks in college hockey you walk into and you can feel the history, and there's been a lot of great moments in our rink, and they've done a great job keeping it up. It's a lot of times we bring recruits through and they have a hard time believing it's 50 years old. It's beautiful, and the maintenance staff has really done a good job of maintaining it. And so we're going to honor Friday night our 74 team, the first team to ever play at Munn, and we got a group of those guys coming back, so it should make for a special weekend.
Yeah, I remember the open. I mean, we were on the air. I remember that opening series on the opening weekend, with Amo around as the coach, leading to Ron Mason. And to your point, I think it's amazing how the way that rink was designed in the first place, there was never a bad seat 50 years ago, and there's not a bad seat in it today. Fair to say? No doubt. It's a great place to watch a hockey game. It's, I think one of the things that's really cool, too, is the speed of our boards and how electric the boards are. When the puck hits it bounces out. It makes for a fast-paced game. And you're right. I mean, it's you can't. There's not a bad seat. And then we added a new sound system. That was one of the things. I think even back Ron was trying. They were trying to figure out. There's acoustics in buildings and everything. So I think that'll really add to the atmosphere. So that's coming up again. It's a wild weekend coming up Friday night, Saturday night, both at 6:00. Michigan State and Boston College. It's no big deal that State didn't score in the first period of either of those games because obviously after the first period there was adjustment. The first game Friday night, I wasn't really surprised by that score, only because in the first game, and plus you knew Lake Superior was going to be highly motivated to play that series, right? For sure. No, Damon Witten, a former Spartan, and Mike York, the coaches up there, they do a great job. And yeah, they were excited to play, defended, really hard and made it hard on us. And I think that's why we wanted to get up there and play. And we knew that they were going to be well coached and tough to play against. There wasn't a ton of easy ice, but I think again, guys staying with it. I think we got to the third period Friday, and I think we outshot them 25-5. So I think there's some patience and trying to get to your game. But I think looking into this weekend, right, we got to try to make sure we get to our game right off the bat. Right. Adam, I always appreciate your time on short notice. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend, and maybe we'll talk again next week. Awesome. Yep. Anytime. Thank you. Adam Knight, Michigan State's third-year hockey coach, and there you go.
Just like Jake Boss Jr. If you say a certain time, by God, he calls right there.
He's pretty much
12:45. Call it 12:45, guys.
It's amazing. They like practicing late morning more often than not. Football, he practices late morning more often than not, as opposed to what the traditional for years and years and years, everybody goes to class early in the day, and then after that, then we come over to practice. I mean, that's kind of the high school model as to how practices work for sports, but there are different ways to do it. And for the most part, Michigan, because when we talked to him, he says, well, we got practice. We can either go before 11 or we can go after I'm off the air or whatever. Right. And today, because we had other things going on, this is the way it worked out. We have 3 Channel 10ers at the Tigers game this afternoon, so we got wall-to-wall coverage of all this. It's the big story today, the driven collision story of the day. There are 2 games in Major League Baseball in the playoffs today, right? No, wait, there are 4. There are 4. Yeah,
all of them.
All of them are going today. That's exactly right. They are all going today.
Okay, you let's get the picks. You took Detroit to win today. Kansas City hosting the Yankees.
I like Kansas City.
Okay. All right. That would put them up 2-1, just like Detroit, assuming Detroit wins. National League.
I'll take the Dodgers at home.
No, Dodgers are in San Diego.
I think the Dodgers can get this to a Game 5.
Okay. As for the Mets and Phillies at Mets.
I think the Phillies are in trouble.
Okay.
I mean, I think the Mets have figured them out pretty well. There's so much pressure on the Phillies. They haven't hit very well in this thing. They didn't hit well last night. The Mets won that game 7-2. You know, that crowd will be, and I feel the Phillies, if they're going to lose today. You don't want to go home and lose the Game 5 in front of your own fans. Those fans are a little bit nasty. And if the Mets win in advance, it still keeps alive the potential of an all-New York World Series between the Mets and the Yankees, whether that happens or not. But there's also still the possibility of American League pennant between the Kansas City Royals and the Detroit Tigers. And in August, who would have thought that's possible?
And Tony Paul of the Detroit News said it's possible it could replicate 1984. Tigers, Royals in the ALCS, Tigers, Padres in the World Series. Still theoretically possible.
You have a great day, everybody. The broadcast here at 3 o'clock this afternoon. See you on Channel 10 tonight at 6:20. You've been listening to the Wednesday Sparrow Stout on Sports, right here on Lansing Sports Station, The Game, 7:30 a.m. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. Stay safe. Brock and I will be back tomorrow. You join us then, about 10:05 or so. We'll get together for a busy Thursday Sparrow Stout on Sports. Thanks for joining us today. We'll talk to you tomorrow. So long.
I'm Will Tiemann, and welcome to the Michigan Sports Brief for Wednesday, October the 9th, brought to you by Frank & Muth Insurance. Start a frank conversation about your insurance with one of our local independent agents by visiting fmins.com. Today, an MSU Hockey Hall of Famer. Back with more right after this.
Just like your favorite sports team, you need a solid defense to protect your home and business. Whether you're tackling unexpected accidents, fouls, or fumbles, the Heartland Insurance Agency and Michigan-based Frank & Muth Insurance are on your team. Visit the Heartland Insurance Agency today at heartlandinsurance.com. That's HARTLAND insurance.com.
An All-American and Hobie Baker Award finalist, Anson Carter left Michigan State as a top 25 scorer of all time. He went on to play 11 seasons in the National Hockey League and is a studio analyst for the NHL on TNT. Carter was recently inducted into the 2024 class of the MSU Athletics Hall of Fame.
My favorite thing about being a Hall of Famer is now I've got some street credibility. Now my daughters won't roll their eyes when I tell them Daddy used to have some pretty good athletic ability. Now they can finally believe me because I got a Hall of Fame jacket. My mom and I spent a lot of time in healthy debates because we're basically the same person. She was the ultimate hockey mom. If you know anything about hockey moms, you think hockey players are tough? Hockey moms are vicious. And to this day, I can't bring up any former coaches that cut me when I was 8, 9, or 10 years old because her blood pressure would spike, and that's not a good thing for her. She's the main reason why I'm standing here today. When I was 16 years old, I thought about quitting hockey to pursue my other passion, baseball. And she told me, you're sticking with it. After being a week on campus my freshman year, I went back home, 7-hour train back to Toronto. And that weekend, when it was up, I tried to sleep in and missed my train. I was completely homesick as an 18-year-old. And my mom dragged me out of bed, and I was crying, of course. And she said, there's no way you're passing up on this opportunity. Well, fast forward 4 years. After my last game playing at Mun Ice Arena, I was sobbing in the restroom, away from my teammates, didn't want them to see, because I knew that was the last time I was going to put on the green and white sweater. I was heartbroken. And I don't want everyone to think here that I'm a weeping willow. I cry all the time, because I don't. After my last game playing professional hockey, over a decade in the National Hockey League, I didn't shed a tear. That just really goes to show how much I love playing here in front of the people in East Lansing.
And as always, we have been brought to you by Frank & Muth Insurance.